dramatic cat live stream intro. That's right. We deliver here on the Dadvocate channel, okay? Other channels, they have starting soon screens. Where you have to sit and wait and count down, or else they just start the live stream. No cat? Hello? I would never do that to you, except for when I do, because it happens more often than not. But outside of all of those times, I would never start a live stream without a dramatic cat entry. What can I say? I'm just that guy. I'm just that kind of a person, you know? I'm just that kind of a legend and hero and icon. They say not all heroes wear capes. Some heroes wear cat fur. I guess that's just me, you know? But please, hold your applause. I don't deserve that much. Just, a bit here and there. I don't know why I'm feeling so goofy today. I don't know why I'm in such a goofy gooberton mood right now. I think it's just because this cat makes me laugh so hard. Oh, he's a chunky, a chunky boy. He's a chunky, chunky, chunky boy. He's a chunky, a chunky boy. He's a chunky, chunky, chunky boy. And he deals with his mom, and he deals with his mom. And I cannot believe I'm not getting scratched in my face. Y'all are gonna, call cat CPS on me, dude. Cat Protective Services. We need you to investigate this YouTuber. There's nothing inherently wrong. She just makes the cat dance for her audience, and we're concerned. It's an ethical issue. But listen, you can't say that if you did not have yourselves such a chonky boy, you wouldn't do the same thing. Okay? We're only human. Anyway, welcome back to another Dadvocate live stream. I am your host, Lauren, and as it turns out, I can be bullied into streaming because I had originally only planned for yesterday to be just the one stream of the week. Was going to work on some other stuff this week. I've got some family stuff going on, but then you guys just kept gifting memberships, specifically JJ, Shadow God, oh god, who else? It's on the tip of my tongue. So many of you just kept gifting memberships. And so when the members all collectively demanded more lives, well, I caved to the pressure. And now here we are, about to talk about the performative male epidemic. Yeah, I will admit, I didn't fully know what we were even gonna live about today. I have all kinds of topics and things in the arsenal that we could have potentially reacted to, but then I stumbled across a new trend that I hadn't heard of, but apparently is amassing quite a bit of virality and popularity across the different social media platforms, and that is the performative male epidemic. We've had nice guys, we have finance bros. There's so many titles and names for different kinds of men. This is a new one, so we're going to jump a bit into that. Before we do, just some introductory words, I guess. If you are new to this stream, one thing about this stream is we try to keep it audio only friendly. Meaning, while we are going to react to some visual things, I will do my best to just verbally describe everything going on screen to you so that you can enjoy this stream a lot like a podcast. If you are driving, lifting weights at the gym, taking your dog for a walk, whatever it may be. So that's one fun thing about these streams. Next, of course, we have to give a shout out to our sponsor. You, that's right, every single one of you who hits like on this live is helping sponsor this channel. Big thank you to everybody who just hits that like button really quick. And an extra super special shout out to all my YouTube members and Patreon members, thank you so much. You guys keep enjoying that early access and members only events, your custom emotes from the YouTube side and your custom merch from the Patreon side. If you want some extra Dadvocate, it is a great way to do so and support my channel. If you don't want to give me any money, don't worry. You will never have to. I will always make free content for you. I think that might be it. I feel like there was one more thing. Oh, yes, one more thing that I want to start adding to the beginning of my streams and not way later on in the world. If you do not like sitting through long live streams, I do edit down these streams into smaller segments that are, you know, closer to the 15 to 25 minute crunch box. So don't worry if live streams are not your thing. You like Dadvocate content, but you're like, I don't know about sitting through all of this. You don't have to. That might also explain why if you're watching some of my newer videos, you're like, I'm getting deja vu. I feel like I've seen this before. That's why. They come from my lives for the most part, but I am trying to write more scripted, more planned out videos, if you will. Trying to do a little bit more there. Okay, I think now that's it. And if you ever have anything you really, really want me to cover, please email me at lauren@dadvocate.net. Without further ado, I say we just get right into what the performative male is. Before I describe what the performative male is, I'm just going to give you some examples so that you can kind of just get hit with this newfound information and your brain can start scrambling to put the pieces together like mine did. We can have a shared experience in that way. Okay? First, let me pull up the video. Wait patiently, class, while I prepare the footage. So, audio only crew, I'll be describing this one for you. What we've got is someone filming a guy. He is wearing a cap. He seems to have a matcha tea in his hand. He's got like a messenger bag. He looks like he's reading a book. And then he's got some kind of like keychains going on his pocket. And the text overlay reads, POV, your date is a performative male.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? You look gorgeous. Can you hold my matcha?
Sure.
I'm gonna get a shot of you on my dispo if that's okay.
Sure.
Stunning. You look gorgeous. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, come on in. You can go ahead and have a seat over there if you want.
Okay.
What's on your keychain?
Oh, this is my Labubu. I also got this Labubu here. This one's rare. It's huge, but I don't know. I'm just kind of into like the whole Labubus lately. I don't know what it is.
So, what are you reading?
Right now I'm reading Secret History, Metamorphosis,
There's
and
3 books stacked on top of each other.
I usually do 2 at a time. I was feeling a little crazy today though. So I really recommend this one. You can borrow it if you want. It is annotated though.
Oh. So, what are you listening to?
Oh, right now I'm listening to, it's this underground kind of artist, Claro.
I noticed you haven't really been drinking that. Do you want me to put it in the fridge for you?
It's fine. I'll just hold on to it.
Oh.
Do you drink matcha?
No. Are you in school or anything like that?
Right now I'm actually in Parsons, but I'm like really into the film industry. Like I dabble with film photography.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more example. And then also, in response to you, Shadow God, reacting to some shoe sounds great. I love Shoe on Head, so noted. I might put up a poll in the Discord to see which of her videos you would like us all to watch, have a watch party for together. Okay. The next example.
I'm almost done with this chapter. I only read books by females. I'm looking for an Angela Davis, Susan B. Anthony. Can you take a photo of me first?
Okay.
I hate that shit.
I love that girl's outfit.
They
I don't
both
really see
always
gender.
have the
I'm opening up a
matcha,
woman-only
and they always
pronoun-free
hate the
coffee shop.
matcha.
Oh, that's interesting.
Excuse me, I'm talking right now, sweetie. Oh, I love Lana Del Rio. Let me burn you a CD. I think it's important for men to show their feminine side.
Yeah, that's what my ex-girlfriend said.
I'm a lesbian too. I'm gonna head out. Go back to sleep.
Wait, that was my laptop. What? Wait, come back!
Okay, so those are a couple of examples of clips of the performative male out in the wild. And when I first started seeing these, I of course noticed, you know, certain trends between them. These tend to be men who express themselves in a more artsy or alternative style. They may express themselves even in a feminine way, but most important of all, they are actively and consistently engaging in and interacting with topics about feminism. And you start watching some of these first examples, and you're kind of like, well, what exactly is the difference between this quote unquote performative male and just a nerdy, artsy alt guy who is unironically into feminism? How exactly do you quite tell these guys apart? Now, in these skits, at least, there's enough context clues to show you that they're being hyperbolic, they're being facetious, tongue-in-cheek. You know, like I had mentioned when we were watching earlier, the one performative male who was trying to demonstrate how well read he was had 3 books at once that he was quote unquote reading. So the joke is that there are a lot of men out there who are trying to appeal to more of the female gaze, if you will, with kind of cultivated and curated interests that they may not naturally or organically actually prescribe to, but are kind of claiming they like it to almost appeal more to women. And I was looking at this performative male epidemic and craze, and kind of, you know, taking it with a grain of salt, as I generally do. And I asked myself the question that I always ask myself when it comes to these kinds of things, which is, does it survive the gender swap? And this is kind of an interesting way to posit it, though, because there's a couple of stages of survivability within this gender swap. First of all, there's the fact of, does it existing even pass the test, right? So let's think of what a performative female would look like. Well, they kind of already have a word for that. They call them pick-me's. And I'm assuming that this would be girls who, let's say, fake an interest in sports so that they can seem more appealing to men, or who pretend to be interested in beers, or more traditionally male-coded activities. That's step one. We know those exist. So does just existing pass the test? They're actually on the same playing field right now. They both exist, and they're both perceived pretty negatively by society. But here's where it gets a little bit different. Is a little different and yet the same problem. Is how do you tell the difference between a quote-unquote pick-me, a girl who is highly performative in her interests to appeal to the male gaze, but versus just a girl who's actually a jock, like a girl who genuinely is interested in sports or woodworking or golf or whatever traditionally male-coded thing that she's expressing a clear and fervent interest in that everybody's just kind of minimizing to, you're just pretending you like that because you want to fit in with guys. How do you really fully tell? Is the question of the day, really. I'm sure that there are going to be things that give it away, right? There's always going to be that person who claims they like the same music as you, and then you go, oh, what's your favorite song? And they can't name one, right? There's always going to be things that give you away. If you're a girl who claims you like sports, but you don't even actually know how the game is played, you can't name any characters, players. you can't even name any of the actors in the baseball show. Oh God, that would be one way. But then I'm also kind of looking at it through another way, right? Like, just as I have long criticized the whole pick-me label in, don't you think it's a bit misogynist to wrap up all of a woman's interests and say the only reason you're even pretending to have these is for men. Don't you think that's a bit misogynist and reductive to just take all of her aspirations and claim that they must revolve around men? In the same way, I have to ask, all of these people making fun of the quote unquote performative male and why they're making fun of him. It seems to be pretty collective that women are all agreeing with each other. We don't like the performative male. We are turned off by this idea. Okay. So does this help defeat the patriarchy, which is usually the overarching goal of women? Or is this really just perpetuating the patriarchy? Because, like I said, the performative male tends to dress and act more artsy, alternative, and feminine. So, this is a tricky situation where are there a small minority of men who are just 100% performative in their interests, don't actually care about feminism or the things they're claiming to care about at all, just to fit in, of course. They will always exist. Same with pick-me's. Are there going to be women who pretend to be interested in things to fit in? Yes, but those are minorities. I think we can all agree they do not make up the majority of men or women. Okay, so if we start treating everyone who appears like that as a pick-me or a performative male, then what are we doing? We're locking in the gender roles. We're locking in the binary boxes that you guys all call the patriarchy. No? When we shame women for having more male-coded hobbies or being more traditionally male interest centered, same with men. We're doing the same thing that we've been doing that is causing repetitive issues within our entire social zeitgeist and the gender war, which is telling men you don't get to be feminine at all. You don't get to express like artsy things like this. You don't get to have that kind of more unique girly style, and you certainly are not welcome to discuss feminism, because how are we supposed to tell whether you're taking it seriously or not? Trust me, I get that you don't want overly performative people in your spaces. As a father's rights advocate, I know this immensely well. The importance of cultivating who will represent your issues the best and avoiding the hotheads, those ready to throw temper tantrums at the drop of a hat, who are poorly spoken, swear all the time, or don't even know how to dress themselves. The ones who are really just looking for some attention or views, don't actually care about changing legislation or making a real difference. Of course we want to avoid those people, and we don't need those people in our spaces. However, my fear, as with all social media trends, is that when we start this very, very popular approach to villainizing a painted picture, a caricature of a person, we really tend to just lean into it, don't we? I mean, we just take it and run with it. We ride it off into the sunset on a little pony. I love what he eats, like a little horsey. I'm sorry, I need to like turn that into a clip and just play it randomly. It makes me so happy thinking about that soundbite. Anyway, I do fear that this is going to be yet another tool that pushes men away, more toward MGTOW, more toward Red Pill, and away from women's spaces where we actually do very much need them, despite all of the women saying we don't need men at all. We do need men reading about feminism. I know a lot of you might be like, what the f did Lauren just say? Like, feminism at its core, the idea that the sexes should be treated equitably, that we should all have the same opportunities to things, that there should not be some insane black and white hierarchical system just because of the dingle-danglies we're born with between our legs. That idea at its core should be preserved and studied. I think that we could all stand to learn about each other's issues. So if they are doing so, even if it's performatively, even if the only reason a man is investigating these texts is because they think that it'll make you interested in them, chaotic and neutral here, maybe even chaotic good, isn't that still kind of a win? And again, I know what they're going to say. We're not celebrating the bare minimum around here. We are not going to be thanking or praising men for doing what they are supposed to do. They're supposed to be learning about our problems without getting any pats on the back for it. I completely agree, but there is a gray area between high praise and throwing parades in the street for men for picking up a basic book about women's history and not shaming them online for participating in it, right? Quite an area in between those two things that we could just gently exist in without partaking in either or of those activities, right? So I want to go over some of the responses from women toward this quote unquote epidemic. And before we get into those, I want to ask you guys, because I know that there are men and women listening right now, and I do think that we can probably all agree that the person that this title is trying to characterize does exist. The guy who is just trying really, really hard to be trendy and stand out and almost peacock, extremely extroverted, loves women, like pairs off way better with women, wants to impress women very badly. I think we can all agree that that exists. I want to hear from you guys though. Do you think that it is an epidemic? Because this is where I'm curious on if this is actually something that maybe the men and the women can agree on. Because if it's true that women are saying there's this big issue where men are practically crucifying themselves in the name of putting women on a pedestal, there probably is a lot of common ground there between men and women where we can agree, like, yeah, that's around, it's an issue, and there are problems with it. You know, the same with women who embrace way too much anti-woman lingo in the name of promoting male advocacy. I think we all know a lot of those types exist as well. Fortunately, it's been a while since I've been able to like outright name someone off the top of my head. Obviously, Pearl Davis comes to mind. She has numerous times said things like women are stupider than men, men are better than women, just like obviously crucifying her own sex in the name of uplifting the other. But is there an epidemic? Are there so many Pearl Davises in the world? Are there so many of these male pick-me performative male types? I'm curious. I'm going to read some of your chats to see what you guys cough, Pearl cough. As I was talking about it, you guys were like, I can name one. Oh God, I have to read this comment from Gamer Daddy. Says, what's an epidemic is calling everything that bothers you an epidemic. This really is a thing, isn't it? Shadow God says, but do we really want to make everything equal between the sexes? Oh, now we're asking the real questions here, aren't we, Shadow God? And now we are asking the real questions, and that's the thing that I do tend to point out a lot on this channel. That's why whenever you hear me describe what I believe the root tenet of feminism should be, you'll hear me use the word equitable. Not necessarily equal, because we're not. Men and women are just not equal. This has been studied for a long time. Why do you think that there even was a separation of male and female sports to begin with? Well, why do you think that, you know, we even check those boxes on medical reports, census reports? We're very different. But when I do use the word equal, it's in things like, you know, equal opportunities. I think that we should all get to vote, for example. I don't think that either of us should be forced to be drafted, for another example, you know? But as far as do we actually want equality, that's a case-by-case basis, because some of the loudest feminists in the world do not want to be made to pay 50-50. They certainly do not want to have to do any of the same hard physical labor that is expected of men. They're not ready to be the protectors or the providers, right? So it's a great question. Do we want things to be equal? I don't know. Do we? Yeah, and I like Batman's Pet Goldfish says, forget equal or equitable, just fair. Fair is so subjective to so many people, though. I hate to say. One person's fair might not be fair to another person. But I would say it's probably more something we could all agree on than we couldn't. So, like I said, I've got a couple videos of some women responding to the performative male epidemic. This is one of them where the girl, what I like about this video is she does a good job of describing factually what the epidemic contains. I believe from a mostly unbiased standpoint, but I don't think I finished the full video. I was waiting to finish it with you guys, so she might end up flying off the rails. I'm not sure. Oh, whoops. This is the wrong one. Sorry, but we'll still watch this. Someone did a performative male contest, and these were the top contestants. I love that they always have the matcha. I think that was actually a woman dressed as a male performative male at the end there. Okay. Where was that one video that I pulled up? Hold on, give me just a second. I got it for you guys. We will cover this.
Performative Male and Epidemic. If you don't know what it is, here we go.
Okay. Oh, wow. Hold up. It just became Super Chat City here real quick. Hello. Thank you so much, DJC Animations. Thank you for the 10. I will admit that I found myself accepting things from my ex that I wouldn't have accepted before we met, because we liked each other. Not a bad person, but many choices and mindsets I disliked. Dude, it is like crazy how much we will completely abandon our morals when we find someone freakishly attractive. It gets some of the best of us sometimes. When you like are really love drunk and you've got a crush and you're like, God, I'm so into them. And then all of a sudden they say something like, fucked. Like, like you're with someone crazy, mind-bendingly hot. And then all of a sudden they're like, but I don't know, like, do we know that the earth is round? And you're just like, trying to make excuses in your head for like, I think they're just joking. I think they're joking. And then they're like, no, I'm not joking. Like, I really think it might be flat. And you're like, you're so funny. They're joking. Please be joking. You're too hot to, oh God. It does happen. Don't feel bad, DJC. Eventually, though, the like hotness blindness does wear off, and you can like find your spine again. So I know you'll get there. We all get back eventually. That one guy, thank you for the 2, says like the live stream. Thank you for the reminder. But yes, here is a woman explaining the epidemic.
Performative Man and Epidemic. If you don't know what it is, here we go. If you haven't seen the Performative Man on TikTok yet, it has been everywhere. It's the man with his vintage headphones, his matcha, as well as a philosophical book. It's basically when a guy aligns his behaviour and lifestyle to what will be rewarded with society.
again, like I'm gonna pause it really quick. This is just really tricky because the three biggest things that have been used to describe the performative man are wearing vintage headphones, drinking matcha tea, and reading books about philosophy. I feel like those things do apply to a lot of men who are doing nothing wrong. Like, I'm sorry for not paying over $100 for some freaking Bose or like AirPod Maxes. I'm sorry for buying vintage headphones from Goodwill. I swear I'm not trying to be edgy. I'm just poor. You're right. And like, tons of guys read philosophy. Maybe not like a bajillion of them, but like, I would say plenty enough, right? I mean, like, who wrote a lot of those philosophy books, right? I think a lot of men wrote the philosophy books. This is not like philosophy has never been completely co-opted by women. Just shared. Okay. I also love that women are like completely gatekeeping Labubus. If you don't know what Labubus are, they're like a little keychain, cute demon toy, depending on what you think is cute. I personally do think they're cute. I'm not even gonna lie. But they're just freakishly expensive. They retail for like 50 to 80 bucks a pop, I believe, sometimes more. The variety surprise packs are a lot more. People are comparing them to Beanie Babies, but I disagree with that sentiment. Beanie Babies were only like $6 to $10 max, and you know what you're getting. These are surprise boxes. Anyway, they're very trendy and fashionable for a certain genre right now. It is definitely, I would say, more of a girly thing, but why can't men like Labubu? I'm okay with it if you're an intellectually consistent person and you say, I make fun of everyone who participates in Labubu. Male, female, it doesn't matter. I'm making fun of you for spending $80 on a surprise keychain demon toy. Yes, you're allowed to have that. But if you're like, I would never make fun of a girl for having a Labubu, but if you're a male with a Labubu, what is wrong with you? You might need to ask yourself some questions, like why? Why does that bother and offend you so much? You know what I mean? Now, is it like, would I call owning a Labubu like peak masculinity? Depends. What's your Labubu wearing? I mean, if your Labubu's wearing some Timberlands, maybe. But let's let her finish.
What sort of shapes this is sort of vintage clothing, wide headphones, matcha, sort of appealing to the female gaze.
Wait. I want to take a closer look at
Sort of appealing to the
this performative male starter kit here. Essentially, it seems that the performative male archetype is a mix
and it is
between
sort of doing
a standard hipster and a zennial, basically, like a Zoomer hipster. Is that kind of what the vibe that you guys are getting as well?
people call this aura, being a bit more nonchalant, such as the trend when people were eating apples in public. He thinks he's not like other guys and that he's emotionally aware. For this, it is about a performance and it's about people becoming self-aware. Then, if you're aware of it, are you exempt from being a performative man? And this shift has happened because of toxic masculinity. There's been a shift from the alpha bro to a more chill, nice guy. There is a trend for men to be soft and more fashion forward. Since social media, this is where emotion and awareness are curated and it's not necessarily felt.
Okay. So she's kind of going a bit more into this epidemic and how it began and what she seems to be implying here. Let me know if you guys read this a different way, but it seems as though that she is implying that performative males are actually toxic alpha bros who are deliberately going undercover, essentially. Like the once renowned like toxic alpha podcast bro of the red pill world is now deliberately trying to dress softer because they're realizing that they're not getting enough women that way. So it's all just a wolf in sheep's clothing type thing. I'm not buying that theory. I don't think that guys who are enormously drawn to red pill type content are the same guys being overly performative male feminists. I don't think it's the same pipeline at all. While there have been a lot of people that you might find were like once conservative who switched completely over to liberal and vice versa, you really don't often see a red pill guy becoming a high key artsy alternative feminist unless it's for a satirical purpose, unless he's like making fun of them. You know what I'm saying? I think that the performative males that they're talking about genuinely do have some interest in this stuff, some kind, but that they probably have some kind of self-esteem issues or some kind of like overly competitive nature that makes them want to take up more space, be noticed, or be more well known for that for some reason. I would say that that's probably more likely, is just they're a little, these types are probably just really full of themselves. They get hit with Dunning-Kruger fever over almost everything. they hear weaponized incompetence and they're like, I am the master of all of women's issues and I am the safest, most highly emotionally intellectual man in any room. Is I think probably what's going on. I definitely don't think there's an affiliation there. I love Komodo says there's all kinds of various LARPers. That's a great term for it. Yeah, people kind of like LARPing as an authority figure in that area, for sure. But I don't know how common it is. Let's see. Bio Bullet says, so now soft and chill is toxic masculinity. Yeah, that's kind of like the wild interpretation. And this is exactly what I mean by these social media trends, just taking things and running with them way out into the distant land of mental gymnastics. Because, yeah, they're basically saying that because women have been so outspoken about toxic masculinity and being too aggressive that now men are overcorrecting by championing their stoicism into a more nonchalant, soft era. But now, again, that's too much of an overcorrection. Now you went too far. It's just funny because it's another example of like, men need to change. No, not like that. Which I'm sure you're all very used to. So the very last, I guess, opinion that I want to get, and you can see that I started watching this, is a creator named Tyler Bender has come out with her own reaction to the Performative Male epidemic. Do you guys know Tyler? Do you guys like Tyler? Do you guys hate Tyler? Quick Tyler pulse check. What are you guys thinking? Oh, Roma's here! Oh, we love Roma. I'm calling her as soon as this live stream is over, by the way. I meant to call her earlier after the doctors, but I forgot. Chloe, have you heard of this performative male epidemic? It seems kind of new. Oh shit, thank you for the generous 28. Enjoy your stream. Can't wait to hear from you. I feel like I'm about to propose. To me, or... You about to propose to Noelle? Oh man, now that would be they'd call you the ultimate pick me for that one. They hate it. They hate when girls propose. Oh man, y'all know I actually proposed to TJ, but like also not really. Because he asked me if he could ask me. And I said, no, it's too soon. But then I thought about it and I was like, that's stupid. We're totally getting married. And then at that time in my life, I was still like really, really, really hyper feminist. Because like what happened with me was like I really embraced feminism and I was like, there's so many problems that women are facing. They're going through so much. I love women and I gotta protect women. But then the feminism, like, it never stopped. Like, I just kept exploring it. And then I like, jumped through the wormhole. And on the other side, I was like, and men have a lot of problems. And we gotta help them too. And it, like, just kept going for me, like, further into helping men. A lot of people, though, just kind of stops at women. And then they're like, yeah, women have problems, let's help them. Well, yeah, men have problems, but that's their fault, so it's not on us to fix that, is how most women look at it. But at that point in my life, I was like, I'm a feminist, and I'm gonna propose to my man. So I did, and then he, like, cross-proposed to me, so, like, I did and I didn't. But I look back and I'm like, I do actually kind of regret it. I'm not even gonna lie. I hate to say I regret proposing to my man, but like he was gonna propose to me. Like I didn't have to do that. I don't think that I like saved any women or like truly empowered myself. I don't really regret it, but I didn't need to. Same for you, Chloe. That man's definitely proposing. Anyway. Quick side quest there. Let me see. Tiberian says that's because you're genuine and intellectually consistent, Lauren. Thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah. I should talk more about that, by the way. How like caring for men is actually like the full feminist equation. But that another topic for another time. Okay. Let's watch this one. I didn't hear what you guys had to say about Tyler. I am gonna go ahead and increase the playback speed. I feel like 1.5 is probably gonna be too annoying, so I'm gonna keep it a safe little one. Yeah, I know. Someone said I would never accept a woman proposing. I mean, I knew that TJ was also a pretty feminist, progressive, liberal guy, so I knew that like he wouldn't be like super offended or anything, but he has kind of like let me know like I was gonna do it. I hope you didn't do that because you were like in a hurry. And I'm like, no, I don't know. I was trying to be edgy and cool. Anyway, let's hear how Tyler talks about this.
Ladies, if you are in contact with a pearl-wearing man, just know every pearl is a soul of a woman he has destroyed. Girl, if your man is more patient for his nail polish to dry than he is with you, run. The biggest emotional risk he's taken was ordering a matcha latte in front of his boys. Oh, you think you have a soft boy on your hands? Make one joke at his expense. I'll wait. His Hinge bio's been to therapy more than he has. Performative men are more committed to their skincare routine than they are to you. He will spend more time curating a photo dump than curating a dinner reservation. He may cheat on you, but he was just going to explain that he found out he's a trauma-informed non-monogamous, and so it's okay. You can't be mad about it. And yeah, he's a total feminist when it comes to sex and not paying the bill. But he gets it. He's such an ally, he'll mansplain to you the plight of modern women for 40 uninterrupted minutes. Welcome to Tyler's Kitchen, the world's first anti-cooking show where I talk about my interests, which include but are not limited to feminism, pop culture, history, and random shit I see on the internet with a few more jokes than is necessary and or appropriate. Today, we are talking about the performative male epidemic.
I will say, it feels as though, like, these women will just assume the absolute worst of any man, but, like, with different sprinkles and flavors of how they make the worst possible assumptions and afford the littlest amount of charitability, right? Like in this situation, like I feel like she would just accuse men of all wanting to cheat and not putting in enough effort and not going to therapy, no matter what they wore or books they read or ideals they claim to espouse, right? I feel like it just would have happened 6 ways to Sunday.
We've entered this new digital era that is dominated by weird performative hypermasculinity. I'm talking Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, Steven Crowder. And so when you see a pearl-wearing, matcha-drinking soft boy, it's very easy to mistake aesthetics for ethics. The rise of the performative male reveals a cultural movement where softness isn't just stylish, it's strategic. So today I want to answer the question, this performed, this learned softness, is it just a trap to get women to trust them? Are the performative males worse than the meninists? Let's get into it. And today I
love that someone was like, Steven Crowder as an example of hypermasculinity? You mean the guy who has several rumors about not being fully straight, who regularly touched his male colleagues' genitals allegedly and has cross-dressed numerous times? Yeah, I get why you were questioning that name drop there.
I am making matcha cookies because what is a performative male without a matcha drink in hand? Also, if you're obsessed with this dress like I am, it is from Rockin' Betty Las Vegas. It's so cute! Now before—
You know what's so funny is my dad's been drinking a lot of matcha lately. I am 1000% about to like get him a labubu and start calling him a performative male.
I get too ahead of myself, what is a performative male? He's a soft boy. He looks endearing, like somebody you could trust. He's different from the other guys. He wears rings, a thrift—
All right, I'm sorry, but like, let's look at this. I keep forgetting I can do this. One of you taught me the arrow keys trick when it comes to fast forwarding and rewinding. Okay, so they're claiming that the soft boy dresses like men have been dressing for actual generations. This is not new. Nothing about this is new. I am looking at a man wearing a college sweater in khakis and a button-up. One of them has a hat. How in the world is this quote-unquote soft boy era? If you watch literally any rom-com or any like movie from the last 50 to 60 years, you're gonna see men dressed like this. What? And that's the thing. So Keck says, so not a muscular person. We have no way of knowing. They're wearing like kind of baggier clothes. They might be ripped under there. Get that lean muscle mass, you know? Really? Okay, I am being demanded some outie time. So someone needs to go outside. Here, come show the people how you do big hugs before I take you. Get over here. Come here. Come here. Oh. Oh, he's too impatient. He needs to go real quick. I'll be right back. I gotta let my dog out. Anyway, when he barks, I'll have to leave again, but it won't take very long. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I will say this might be a hot take, but if you're a woman and you see a man dressed like this, and your first thought is, he must be more safe and trustworthy than the other guys, then you're a fucking idiot and you kind of deserve what's coming to you, because there is literally nothing about simply dressing in khakis and a sweater that should at all imply a safer person than anyone else. That's literally the most regular ass fit a dude could possibly wear. Like, what do you mean? If you're a woman and you fall for this, shame on you. And if you're a dude and you think that like dressing that way somehow makes you safer, I mean, it's a safe way to dress. It screams hireable, I guess. But there's nothing that makes me look at that and go, that man would never roofie me. Like, there's just not enough to know. All right, I cannot tell if Miles is barking at me. Let me read these. Oh, okay. TJ is home. That is what Miles is barking at. I'm like, why would you ask to go outside if you are literally going to immediately want to come back in? I was so confused. But no, we have a TJ now, so we can use a TJ card. Hi, babe!
Hello.
Oh, man. I know what that hello means. That's the I need to decompress hello after work. You know, a really quick side quest tangent, I swear I'll get back to the super chats, but there's this trend going around. I meant to ask TJ to write a couple so we could do this later. But there's this trend that's unspoken rules in our relationship. And each person shows up with like 2 or 3 of them. And it's things that are very, very specific that they do because of who their partner is specifically as a person to kind of adjust their life to them that they may have never vocalized or talked about with the other person. But I would say, yeah, so one of the unspoken rules in the relationship is I can tell based on the way that TJ responds to how his work or not on like how long he needs before being like fully engaged or God forbid asked to do something, right? It like I'm sure this isn't just a specifically us thing. Ladies, if your man comes home from work and you're like, how was work? And he's like, good. Don't ask him to do shit for like half an hour. Even if you really need help, dude, give the man half an hour. He needs to decompress. He's been through some shit. And same men with your ladies. Even if it's not work, even if like you're coming home and you're like, how was the day with the kids? And she's like, busy. Take the kids. Leave her. Like, switch off. I cannot recommend this enough. You guys need to, like, take turns on who gets the decompression time, because you can't, like, always both have it at the same time, right? But take care of each other's decompression time, y'all. Matthew Maddow, thank you for the 5, says, I have internalized this. I'm either a wolf or a wolf in sheep's clothing. While I know it isn't true, I feel that it is. Yay. This is what I'm talking about. This is the social consequence of villainizing all men who engage in feminism as probably just being performative, because it really does get in dudes' headspace and it becomes a damned if you do, damned if you don't crisis, right? Because it's like there are plenty of men who are like, yeah, I definitely want to engage in these spaces and let women know that I care about them. But if I do too much of that, then they're going to think that I'm just being a nice guy. So, you know what? I'm just going to step out and be quiet. And then in the next thing you know, it's where are all the good guys? Why aren't guys talking about this? Because you called him a girly soy boy performative male when he did. Maybe that's why. Brett83, thank you so much for your generous 10. Says, don't get me wrong, the manosphere sucks hard, but this feels a bit like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Sorry, I stole your thought there. If I would have just read yours first. Masculine equals toxic, feminine men equals manipulative. Yep, very good points. Shadow God 1000, thank you for another one. Does the father coconut like The Princess Bride? Yes, actually. He is the one who showed me that movie for the first time very early on into us dating. I will say this, when I first started dating TJ, I had seen, like, you would think that I had never watched a movie before in my life. Because he was like, oh yeah, you know, like in The Goonies. I'm like, I've never seen The Goonies. And he's like, well, you know, like in The Princess Bride, I've never seen The Princess Bride. And he was just like, luckily he likes to watch movies, so he's gotten to he has truly showed me the world. I am the Jasmine on his Aladdin carpet ride through basic cinema. Okay, let's keep watching this.
Endearing, like somebody you could trust. He's different from the other guys. He wears rings, a thrifted sweater. His pants are vintage. Oh, and look at that, he has a Joan Didion novel in his pocket.
Again, I'm so enraged that thrifted clothing is becoming some kind of a sign of an insincere, bad faith pretender. Like, God forbid we just want to shop at Goodwill because plain retail prices are insane.
He's got the eyeliner, the painted nails, and I can't help but think this is incredibly formulaic. But as the memes have clearly picked up, these visual cues aren't just about fashion, they're signifiers. And they are curated with more precision than a museum he'd pretend to enjoy. Oh my gosh, why is there wet in here? This is the dry ingredients bag. No!
This is one of those crazy situations in history where like the Ouroboros just eats its own tail, and the ones who claim to be the most feminist end up like completely going full circle to the hyper conservative side that they claim to hate. Like, you know how the most conservative radicals tend to honestly and sincerely believe that the only reason that males would transition to females is to win at sports, when in reality that might be the case like one time, but like for the most part, if people are going to go through all of that, they probably do sincerely want to transition. Whether you agree with it or think that that's a healthy, normal thing to do is whatever, but they probably genuinely do want to do that, right? It's the same exact way as these like hyper feminist super radicals genuinely think that men would only paint their nails as a way to virtue signal and appeal to women. Like, I'm pretty sure by the time a man is like painting his nails, he probably genuinely wants to do it, don't you think? Like, he probably just genuinely wanted to do that. It does seem like a bit of a reach to say that men are formulaically painting their nails to fit in with women and for no other reason. That one is just a bit of a hard sell for me. Matthew Maddow, thank you for another one. Says, it's the root of my dysphoria. In my bones, I know I'm a monster because of DNA. The only time I feel comfortable flirting was on femme. And then, ellipses, we are in suspense. So, actually, I think what you're expressing does play into what the woman from the TikTok who was criticizing this epidemic was kind of suggesting, that this is almost like the desire for men to perform in a more feminine way is an over I just used the word, why did it just run away from me now? An overcorrection to toxic masculinity. It's the fear and aversion of being labeled as a toxic man, or having your behaviors or patterns be received as toxic or manipulative. And so you just avoid masculinity altogether and try to live in a more feminine way so that you're not perceived as evil. And a lot of people might say, well, that's a you problem, you're just being too sensitive, you know. But I think that this is very common, actually. And if I can be completely honest, I do think that that's probably a contributing factor into why there are more male to female transitioners than female to male. Why would anyone want to become a man? I mean, be so for real. Being a man is so demonized. And I do wonder if for some people, you know, I'm sure most of it is genuine gender dysphoria and just genuinely feeling more like a girl your whole life. Many of these people describe having these feelings since childhood, even before any major anti-male sentiment really seeped into their pores, you know? But there's a lot that you would want to run away from at that point. You know, like I said, a huge contributing factor. I have known people who were assigned male at birth and transitioned and expressed that one of the main reasons they wanted to begin taking estrogen was because they did not like at all anything associated with being a male. That there are just too many toxic men, and this person also had a lot of anti-male sentiment as well. And they never completed their transition. Not just because they never got surgery. I know that most trans people don't get surgery, but they decided never to fully transition into being a woman. And so I do wonder if they even would be non-binary if there wasn't so much anti-male sentiment seeped into their life. Maybe they would be more comfortable associating as a male if it wasn't so vilified, since it's not actually about changing the body or the exterior appearance. All purely speculation, probably a rabbit hole that I have no business getting any further down, but just something worth considering. I'm sure many of you have had that thought before as well. Oh my god, Shiny Luna says, just noticed this is how Hassan Piker dresses. Honestly, Hassan Piker might be a very fair representation of a performative male. I was having trouble, like, really thinking of someone, but you might be onto something there. Colonel Arnold, thank you for the 5, says, I'll kindly stay single. I'm not paying $100 for a pair of pants just to get a date unless it's part of a suit. Wait, I'm confused when it comes to the $100 pants thing. Is it, are you saying, like, because men who thrift their clothes can't be trusted, that the only way to not be seen as performative is to, like, buy full price wholesale jeans? God, that would suck. What year are those Levi's? Okay, were they from this year, or are they vintage? You pretender. Matthew Maddow, thank you for another generous 10. Holy shit. And then someone pointed out I was a wolf in sheep's... That's right, you needed to finish your story anyway. Then someone pointed out I was a wolf in sheep's clothing. I remember holding a knife to my crotch, trying to gather the will to cut it off, but I also know I was put up for adoption because male. Holy crap. Yeah, that's very relevant to a lot of the stuff we've been talking about lately. I literally just covered the woman who said that she would never, ever, ever want to get pregnant with a boy. One of the many women who says that. Today, I just covered a baby shower where the mom ends up screaming in horror when it is revealed that she's having another boy in front of her 2 sons. And there are a lot of women who express the sentiment like, yeah, I would abort if I had a boy. I'm either having a girl or an abortion. A lot of people with that sentiment. And, like, what do you even tell a kid or, you know, an adult male like Matthew who has had to wrestle with those feelings of self-hate his entire life? Just get over it? Is that what I'm supposed to say? Like, oh, just get over it. These problems that you're saying that you have as a man, you caused those problems. So, like, how does that apply to someone like Matthew, who the majority of his issues within his identity stem from being put up for adoption purely because he was born a male, and then exacerbated by further anti-male sentiment throughout society? How can we keep telling these men, oh, well, it's men's fault, so we don't have to help you? I don't think so. I really do think it's all of our responsibilities to prevent the most amount of harm that we possibly can. Not just say, well, I'm only for harm prevention when it has to do with women, and I don't engage with harm prevention when it comes to men because some men bad. Sorry, that's not the way my brain works. Shadow God 1000 says, kids should not be able to get gender-affirming care. There are a lot of people that regret it later, and it can apparently cause irreversible damage. Yeah, like I said, that's a rabbit hole I don't know if we have much business getting into. I will say this, though. Gender-affirming care does not always mean chopping genitals off, stopping puberty, starting hormones. Under the umbrella of gender-affirming care could just be social transitioning. Could be therapy. Could be telling your kid, I will always love you no matter what. That can be gender affirming care, right? I'm a big advocate of social transitioning for a child prior to becoming an adult when they can make clear, informed medical decisions for themselves. Totally on board with it. What's wrong with letting your assigned female at birth child dress as a boy and call themselves a boy name? Plenty of kids give themselves nicknames, start going by other names, and have their own unique style. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Doesn't cause any long-term problems, not irreversible. If the kid decides I'm not going to transition after that, you could argue like, oh, but they might be embarrassed that they went through. Every kid is going to have an embarrassing style period of their life no matter what. So let them try and work on figuring it out socially, I think it's fine. I think that it's a healthy way for you as a parent to tell your kid, I hear you, and I'm here to help you explore what you need to explore without doing anything too drastic. Just my opinion. Let's get back to the topic, though.
What is this that is seeping into my dry ingredients bin? I don't know how we got wet in the dry bin, but I will move on. This isn't just a show. It's a
I know how I got wet in my dry bin. Sorry.
show. I like to say pearl necklaces.
Oh god, okay, hold on. I'll read the super chat and then we're gonna get off this topic. It's gonna get me in trouble. Matthew Maddow says, gender affirming care can also be you don't have to be a girl to not be a monster, or you don't need to be a boy to like heart. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Oh, amazing point. Amazing point. Yep, I completely agree with you, Matthew. Very good super chat.
Are to man as neon skin is to frog. This creature is toxic. So this isn't really matcha. It's like the stuff I found and it has other things in it, but it's really delicious and cool. Do I not have baking powder? How do I have a cooking show not have baking powder? But I am gonna look up what to do if I don't have baking powder. What do I do if I'm making cookies and I realized I don't have baking powder? Okay, wait, hold on. I think this is gonna work. If you do 1 teaspoon of baking powder plus a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, that will work. Allegedly. Little glasses or like wear a ring. Authenticity. And
okay,
I'm not afraid to paint his nails or like have dorky little glasses or like wear a ring. This concept was absolutely novel. I thought, wow, he must be a catch. Now I am a woman of substance who understands things such as most men are guilty until proven innocent. Getting sort of yikes.
That's what I'm saying. Like earlier I joked that if you're a woman and you honest to God believe that like a man wearing a soft sweater or cute quirky little glasses or drinking matcha means that he is inherently safe and trustworthy, that you're kind of a dumbass. Like, I really wasn't expecting an actual honest to God grown woman to come along and like immediately prove my point right after I said that, but like, duh. And to be fair, she's being self-aware and saying, I used to think this way, I don't anymore, but come the f on. Like, we all heard about Ted Bundy. What do you mean you looked at a guy who looked kind of safe, so you decided to trust him with your life? Like, and again, I'm not saying assume that every man can hurt you, but I am saying there's literally like not much of a reason to genuinely believe that you have less odds of getting emotionally hurt by a man in a sweater than a man in a work vest. I don't understand that one.
But let's talk about performance versus authenticity. And this is the gag for most people. And the male manipulator meme perfectly encapsulates this.
Oh. So these are the ones that we watched.
People on TikTok have made video after video of a guy who like has the looks but is also cheating on you with your best friend. Or the guy who knows his Myers-Briggs personality type but will still find a way to gaslight you. A man who quotes Sylvia Plath and knows his attachment style will still ghost you and might even use his emotional fluency to take advantage of you.
I'm almost done with this chapter. I only read books by females. I'm looking for an Angela Davis, Susan B. Anthony.
But isn't that the case with like women too though? Like, isn't it actually like extremely common that some of the smartest, most educated are often like many times some of the most duplicitous, you know, like of any gender? right? Like, isn't it also true that women who are highly skilled in some areas are also crazy as shit in others? Like Tanya Harding. Hello.
Can you take a photo of me first?
I think that's what's so dark and menacing about this is like, not only is he destructive, but he's like sentient enough to know how to be destructive and how to do that. Writer Gia Tolentino writes, aesthetics are often the closest we can come to ethics in a digital space. So when masculinity and empathy are aesthetics, sincerity becomes slippery. Like, okay, his Labubu unboxing went viral. So did his undisclosed HSV. In Performing Masculinity / Masculinity and Performance, Whitaker notes that masculinity is a series of choices, stylizations, postures, and utterances, never quite secured, always needing to be reiterated, validated, and received. And I think if we look at it through the lens of this framework, it positions the soft boy as not a genuine evolution, but another iteration, another costume in the rotating closet of what it means to be a guy. Today's tough guy might lift weights and quote Joe Rogan, but tomorrow's sensitive guy wears rings and quotes Rupi Kaur. So where did men learn that wearing vintage jewelry and crying on camera signals safety, therefore signals more bitches? I think the answer lies somewhere between culture and digital media. On the cultural side, I think this may be because women have evolved. Like, our hierarchy of needs are getting more and more fulfilled. We can provide for ourselves. Most women see men more as predators than protectors. So when those needs are met, it's like, okay, now we're looking for like kindness, attractiveness, which are things that women in the past were never looking for. David Buss did a study in 1989 that showed that while women still are looking for qualities such as financial stability and protection, qualities like kindness and intelligence consistently rank higher among women worldwide.
Okay, I was waiting for her, like, you could see me about to pause, and then I waited to let her finish, because after she said, women have never cared about kindness before, I was about to pause and be like, bitch, what the fuck? But then she was about to start quoting something, so I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Go off, because maybe there was a study that found that women just genuinely did not care if a man was honest or kind at all. Like, they just didn't care back then. But that's not what she quoted. All she quoted was that we're less interested in the provision part and now more interested in the personality than before. But that has probably more to do with the fact that, like, yes, we are more self-sustaining, but I don't think it's true that women did not previously care if men were soft or kind or anything like that. I just think that, yeah, there was definitely more of a survival mode for sure. They had to, kind of take what they could get in some cases, especially during the times that divorce was illegal. But I think they cared. I think they probably cared. Connor says, have women forgotten that men were the original wearing jewelry and reading types? It's exactly what I pointed out earlier when they're like, oh, these men are trying to impress women by reading philosophy. And I'm like, who wrote the philosophy, though? Like, what do you mean? Women didn't invent philosophy.
Muldoon 2023 explains in Soft Boys, The Age of Millennial Masculinity, that vulnerability is often performed strategically on social media and dating apps to manufacture desirability. Similarly, Stoles 2021 analyzes how K-pop's redefinition of masculinity uses soft aesthetics to seem progressive while maintaining underlying patriarchal structures.
No, stop. No. K-pop is not redefining masculinity. No, it's not. That's like saying, icons like Freddie Mercury and David Bowie are like completely redefining masculinity. Like, those might be some prime historic examples of men who were able to defer away from traditional masculine archetypes and still be enormously successful with the ladies. But like, I don't think that there's like a mass reproduction of those styles. I still think that that's a rare version of masculinity. Is that fair to say? Not that I think it should be discouraged. Pretty boys, please do your thing. Here's one now.
So I heard this, and can I see the person who's saying this video, who's saying,
Have you ever heard of Tyler Bender?
Probably. What do they look like?
Reference with Hammer
How old is
2023,
she?
who pushed
Okay. So she's younger than us.
Probably a little bit. I would give her like maybe like mid-20s. Maybe she looks really good for like.
Okay, you need to understand
30s,
mid
though.
20s is quite a bit younger than me. But I
guess you're right. I guess we're old now.
but I'm such a difference from you, relatively speaking. Like how far I am away from you is even farther away, or not even as far as I am away from mid 20s. You know, if I'm gonna go mid 20s, it's double the amount that our difference is. That's one of our kids.
Okay, fair enough. Point
Like,
made.
it's
Point
so-
made. I was
so
a
to
little,
me-
little for a second.
So to me, I'm sitting here going like, let's say she's even like 27, 28. And again, she's saying that K-pop is redefining masculinity. Counter, this is her and the general populace's first mainstream encounter with this general idea that is more popular in Southeast Asia than it is in a lot of the European and Eurasian countries, which is androgynous beauty and beauty that is not defined by gender. Like, they're like, yeah, dude, men can be beautiful. Like, yep, that is a beautiful man. And it's like, you know, are there people who are still gonna be like, oh, pretty boy, yeah, but it's still more, I think, culturally mainstream to be like, beauty is a quality that can be held no matter what gender you are, you can be a beautiful person. And that is not a countercultural or considered an attack on anything. It's just like, it's just a thing. It's a thing that people are. The same way that, like, I'm blonde or, like, I have green eyes. Like, that person is just, they possess the trait of beauty. And it's like, does that mean that probably, like, beauty standards are maybe a little more rigid in places like that? I mean, maybe, possibly. But it's also, like, I think by them saying... And it's kind of like someone made like an NSYNC reference. It's kind of like that.
I know the exact difference.
But it wasn't as culturally accepted back then to where it's like, if you wanted to...
It's a little bit different because like the exact difference between BTS and NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys, to answer your question, is literally dangly earrings.
But it's not just that. It's because
difference.
there's been like 2.5 decades of society to kind of be like, I mean, guys have actually worn jewelry and earrings forever. It's actually kind of weird that we stopped wearing them for this really weird amount of time. Yeah, I guess guys can wear earrings if they want, and it's one of those more like, it's not the norm in the same sense that, like, when I wear my Haunted Mansion button up, it's not the norm. It's like, oh, you know, I'm not wearing like a monochrome button up with a tie tucked into pants. You know, that's the norm, and it's just going by like averages. I mean, by averages, probably shorts and a tank top are the norm if we're going to take in global outfits. But
oh yeah, earlier they showed a collection of guys wearing like sweaters with button-ups underneath and like khaki pants, and they were like, look at the soft boy era. Men are trying to trick us with the soft boy era, this new soft boy style of
this
dressing.
new stuff. Are you, my dear sweet, holy shit? Can you look up 2002 prep? Just look up 2002 prep.
I was saying, if you watch like any movie
Not even 2002.
in the past 50 to 60 years, they'll look like that.
Type in 1980s prep. Just type in 1980s prep fashion. It's called prep.
Yeah.
Please. It's called prep. Oh my, like, are you kidding me? What is wrong? Like, go watch an 80s comedy. Go watch an 80s comedy and look at how they make the preppy assholes dress. It's just that. Literally, it doesn't even matter what color skin you have.
Listen, we're in a performative boy epidemic. It's brand new. We've never seen it before.
These are like
anyway,
people
let's
who are
go
acting...
through every generation.
Dude, Lauren, I'm not kidding. It's called prep. It's called prep. That's what they called it when I was in high school. And you want to know how I know that's what they called it when I was in high school?
Look at all these soft boys from the
God, oh my God. These are like...
Except there's no Labubu. That's the only.
These are like the people who are like are acting brand new that Superman is acting like Superman in the new movies. Are you kidding me? It's just called prep. It's like there's gonna be people coming out in goth fashion. They're gonna be like, look at all these like this new like goth thing people are trying, and there's going to be millennials that will set the town on fire with nary an emotion on their face, like just burn. But that is unbelievable. Oh my God, it's just the preppy style. That's all it is. Yes, the mods versus the rockers. It's like that's all it is. It's the traditional like preppy, nice looking thing.
Isn't it so funny how like literally the most safe, neutral, hireable aesthetic has become the new try hard. Like
But it's so weird to me because it's like I'm sure there are people who are just mimicking a style that is mimicking, like I'm sure they're mimicking something that was trying to be like prep adjacent, and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Like I remember seeing a TikTok of this like young, they had to still be in high school, and this girl goes, I think it'd be crazy if we like had a phone, but it was like in your house and like stayed attached to the wall. And then it like shifted to like a guy who was maybe a few years older than me, and he was like, we have somehow gotten so far away from a telephone that society is now going, what if we made a telephone? And it's like, oh no. That's what it... Is she saying this preppy new thing? Is she saying this? While she's dressed like I have to take a walk for a second.
So I will warn you, part of Tyler's thing is she's not actually going for like trad wife.
She's like to look nice.
She does this ironically. She calls it the world's first anti-cooking show.
Okay, so if she does it ironically, it leads me to believe that she should have some semblance of being able to... How do you not know what prep is? Oh my God.
Wait, are you upset by the irony that she's being...
I'm upset by the irony that she's being ironic and does not understand... Like
that she's
it is
performative.
Like you saw, it's not like a fashion trend that was like, oh yeah, this was it was a really popular but short-lived thing in like the 2010s. It's like, lady, there are decades-long versions. It's like it's such a style that it has micro styles within its style. Like, oh my God, like holy shit.
I will tell you, her main criticism seems to be there are these men who are formulaically dressing in ways that are designed to appear more safe and appealing to women specifically. And these are things like wearing like thrifted clothes or like dressing in ways that appear safer. They order the matcha teas. They carry around like philosophy books or books on like modern feminism.
All right. I've got thoughts.
And her criticism here is that, you know, these men are wolves in sheep's clothing, and we need to be incredibly skeptical of men who appear too artsy, too soft, too alternative, too feminist.
Okay. I think if the phrasing is... Because I'm going to wait for my coffee is going to pull me away for a second once it finishes warming up.
Now I want my coffee.
I am... Okay.
We can finish watching it. I was going to finish watching and then we can start heading out.
I have thoughts
this.
because it's like, and here's my thing is... I wish I could get like a chart. Do you have a chart that I could draw on?
I was gonna say you can bring up the whiteboard again, the one that we used for the cheating chassis saga.
That's the.
We're getting a chart, you guys. Oh shit! We're getting a overly performative man chart. Let's go. When the DM of the house starts making charts, you know it is getting serious up in here.
Do you have dry erase in there?
No. Where did I put the ones that were downstairs? I want to say they're in that little, like Dellen's wooden art box from when he was a kid that's on the bottom shelf of the bookshelf in the basement.
In the basement?
Yeah. We're gonna watch a little bit more of this.
Go for it
while TJ gets his stuff. Did you see my coffee in there, by the way, when you were getting yours? Yeah. Would you mind? It might even still be warm. I think I heated it up right before the live, and I was intending on bringing it, and then I failed. That's his normal TJ behavior. He can't help but be iconic. He's a legend. He's an icon.
Pushes further arguing that these effective performances let men appear emotionally evolved without doing the actual work of emotional accountability. These guys clearly know what's going on. They clearly know that if I can show women that I'm vulnerable at any means, that will get me ahead. It's like when guys like to brag and act like they have a ton of money if they don't, or guys lying about their height. Except for now, they know to lie about their EQ. They're lying about it through the way they dress. They're lying about it by their performative Instagram story reposts. They're lying about it by the weird artsy quotes on their Hinge profile.
Again, if you honestly believe that you can read someone's EQ by the way that they dress, you're kind of a dumbass. Like, unless they're wearing a shirt that's like, dude, I don't like women, I don't know if you can make a valid assessment of their emotional intelligence or lack thereof based purely on their clothing. And again, a lot of the issue here is they're like, oh, so she literally just said that being vulnerable with women, after learning that being vulnerable with women gets you further in your relationships with women, is equivalent to lying about your height. Nope, no, it's not.
Profiles, and I
don't know if the lights are going to be good in this or not.
Oh, the chart is here. The whiteboard has arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
It's pronounced white boy.
What?
It's pronounced white boy.
The white boy has arrived. That's what I'm now calling TJ. He used to be the tripod, then he was Father Coconut, and now he's just our house white boy.
No, these are all of my titles. It's like
oh, like
the different trickster titles, like.
Okay, you might want to back it up even more.
I don't know if we can adjust the camera at all.
I'll come stand back here.
All right. So it's gonna start really simple, like right from the get-go. I agree. Yes. Two types of dudes. There's the not safe dudes.
TJ on his hoe math era.
And then there's the dudes. Okay? So, with this, and again, these are all guys who might dress, act, whatever, a certain way. They might notice that there's a certain physical presentation that seems to not put off people and make you seem more approachable. Now with that, we're gonna go.
Ted Bundy look.
Well,
Ted Bundy looks
that's
like
the problem.
Every other guy.
Hold on. So there's approachable. Now here's Our Lady. Sorry for using the outdated skirts, everybody.
I will say this though. This is what's crazy. Is like this logic is basically like saying, "Oh my God, but Ted Bundy, he looks just like everybody else. So let's no longer think that anyone who looks like Ted Bundy is safe."
I'm getting there.
Hold on,
dude. You gotta hold on. I'm getting
all
there.
right.
So they know about. We'll call them the Teddies.
The Teddies.
No, we won't. I love Teddy Roosevelt. I can't do that. I can't be saying that.
No, let's say the Teddies.
Let's do the Bundys.
The Bundys. That makes more sense. Okay,
right.
We'll do the Bundys.
So we got the Bundys, and we'll call these the Clarks. So we got. The idea is guys who are genuine and guys who are not genuine about it.
But they look the same.
because they're both focusing on being approachable. Now, some of them might just prefer to dress in one way or another anyway. But the ladies know that there are some who basically, who I'll just say manipulate their aesthetic. This is going to be I'll just use it to lure people in. To lure in, I'll put a mate. That's really gross talk, but you get it. So basically, now they know when they're looking at these guys now, going into it, okay, it's like any party game. There's one of these guys here, maybe half of these guys here, maybe all of these guys here. How do I know until maybe I've committed time, I've committed emotional time to this person, to where they finally unmask and it's like, oh, you were a Bundy when I thought you were Clark. I thought you were safe. I thought you were actually how you presented yourself. And that's part of it, is if the approach is we're unsure, the ladies are unsure because we don't know which of these two guys this person is. I totally understand that they're like, hey, if they're, and this is my problem, is some of these Clarks, and we can even call them whatever the hell you want. You call them Bruces. He's still not a problematic person in terms of stuff. But it's like, the idea could be, maybe he does want to, I don't even want to say compensate, but kind of compensate in how they're presenting. So he goes above and beyond in making sure he gets the thrift store stuff. And he's like, you know what? I do enjoy reading Nietzsche. And he's like, I am going to read that so I can even be, I don't want to even say performative, because there are some people who are being performative, but there are some people who are like, this is my thing, and it's a way that I can show also that I'm a safe person. It's like, I made a joke to a lady the other day at work. She was this, like, she was a grandma with, like, bright, like, not like, some people are so old they have blue hair. She dyed it like a turquoise. But she was like, oh, I love your shirt, and it was bright. And I was like, yeah, I like to wear bright colors because it lets predators know that I'm not safe. But it's like, that's kind of the idea, is it's like certain personalities recognize that I'm an approachable person because of how I dress. And that's part of why I like to dress the way that I do. I don't know how else to say it. I like being an approachable person. I like being helpful. I like being someone that people feel comfortable being able to come up to and talk to or ask for something.
Which is exactly what a Bundy would say.
Shit, you're right. But that's the problem. It's also that's what a Clark would say too. But it's like, it's also on the same note. Like, there's certain people learn to like read body types and stuff, but then it's like there's some people who like learn how to mask how they like carry themselves, and it's like there's always that. The problem is, because statistically, fellas, I got some bad news for us. Violent crime, we don't look the best, and so when it comes to that, and someone even errs mildly on the side of caution, they're always going to be safely in this, what of these two is he? And the fear is always, will it be past the too late mark to find out? And now I'm not even if it's actually like a Ted Bundy actual kind of person, but like someone who's just not safe, emotionally, physically, however that might be. Is it worth the potential investment of finding out which one he is? Especially because in today's day and age, life feels on the fast track, and a lot of these people in their early 20s, late 20s, even their 30s, let alone people older who might not have anybody, it feels like time is sped up, and there's this like, people are just churning through stuff because and I think it's just making everything pile on top of itself, but it's like, they don't want to get themselves to this point and then, they'll be unhappy. Everyone will, but sometimes it happens with literal abuse too. Sometimes the unhappy is literal abuse, as opposed to just like, we had a nasty breakup. Sometimes it's literally like, I actually need real therapy for a very long time because of that. And so it's a lot of, ladies who are dealing with us, sorry guys, it's us. A lot of the ladies who are dealing with us in the dating world are getting to the finding out if we're the dudes or the not safes, and being like, you know what, keeping him as a friend, and it's like that's where it's safe. Maybe that's as far as I'll let most of anybody close to even, or some of them are just swearing us off altogether. And part of that is we need to get better, fellas, guys, us, of holding all the other dudes accountable, turning the not safes to the dudes. And a lot of times it's as simple as one of us just like tapping him on the arm and being like, not cool. You know, we can talk later. Let's just like drop that right now. And if they are secretly a dude who's just misled, they'll be like, okay, for sure. They might not get it, but they might be like, okay, maybe I just understand the dynamics here. That's a dude who just doesn't know better yet. But it's the thing. The girls don't want to do the work. If he's a dude who hasn't figured it out yet and he's a not safe, they're like, oh, I don't even want to put in the fucking work to try and make you figure it out. You need to do that before you come to the table. Like, you know.
See, I thought you were going to take it in a different direction, because the whole time that we're talking about this, when you said the girls don't want to do the work, I'm like, I agree, but what I'm referring to is the fact that, as we've pointed out, none of this is actually a new phenomenon. This whole performative male epidemic is just another way of saying there are always going to be some guys who present as very safe and approachable, but suck. That will exist for time immemorial. How do you prevent it? The way that we've always had to, folks, is we just gotta practice discernment. Communication, the usual tool that I keep stressing over and over and over and over again until I'm blue in the face. You just gotta ask the right questions. Here's the thing, what is going to immediately pull the Scooby-Doo mask off of a performative male? Asking questions about his beliefs on feminism, asking questions about all of his values and styles and what got him into things. And if the answers are just not making sense, I think it's, as long as you are really paying attention and you're not caught up in hotness blindness, you should be able to get a lot of information by getting to know the person. And of course, covert narcissists exist.
Yes.
Covert narcissists
You can't tell a book by its
exist.
cover, right there. That's not to say that women don't want to do the work, period. It's that they've been doing it for so fucking long that it's like, you know what? You guys can fix yourselves. We're gonna work on us. And I get it. I understand. Totally.
I
mean, don't get me wrong, you don't have to come to the table perfect, but in the sense of like,
here's where I stand on it. Obviously, it's no one's responsibility to go out of their way and play therapist for some random dude. Obviously, it's no one's sole mission. However, when women say things like, men got themselves into this, it's not my responsibility to help. Sure, no one's asking you to like do phone banking for causes supporting men, or like do unpaid hours of labor, but like what you can do to help is just literally being kind and not spreading stereotype ass like thoughts about men, like giving the benefit of the doubt once in a while, assuming positive intent, being charitable with your interpretations. Like, that's all you really have to do to help. Like, and saying I refuse to do any of that, it just seems so
I'm just saying that it's
antithetical.
not, it's women, I feel like the modern take is that it's not their job to unteach outdated mindsets.
Sure.
That's what I mean.
I'm agreeing. If they meet someone and they find out that like he's really stuck in problematic thinking, like, yeah, no, she doesn't have to stick around.
That's where I'm at. But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between dudes and not safe. That's just all where it starts. That's all it is. They don't want, like, and it's not their job for us to teach us to unlearn. that's something you and your friends can do. Your friends should be helping you. And then if they're not, and you're like, wow, this thing that I feel I should be unlearning given this person that I'm really interested in doesn't seem to agree with it, but everyone else seems to propagate it, then it might be like, are you the friend that starts the tumble? But that's a completely different conversation. It's simply, that's all I'm saying, where you're like, these toxic mindsets, it's like, that's the difference between dudes and not dudes. That's all she's talking about. Are they toxic in a wolf in sheep's clothing, or are they the genuine article? Is it worth finding out?
Yeah, it's just so funny too, because it's like Ted Bundy dressed and performed the way that he did so that he could look like all of the other genuinely safe men. And it's like now women are taking this and going, so anybody who dresses like Ted Bundy is unsafe. And it's like, that's not.
A lot of you
That's
are...
not what you're supposed to do, drop him that.
Yeah, a lot of you guys are getting the point, but thinking that you're being like, it's actually just this. No, that's what I was saying. Point out the problematic stuff. Someone said it great. If you see someone say out-of-pocket shit, take them aside. You might not have to explain it to them right then and there, but you can. It's that simple. It's that simple. So much that our only responsibility as one exists is to stop. Yes, that's it. That's all I'm saying.
Let me see. Are they the wolf in sheep's clothing or the genuine article?
But
Yes.
that you guys, they can perform for everybody, but you guys are assuming they fool everyone. That's the thing. They can perform all they want, but there's going to be people, probably autistic, who pick up on the fact that they're being performative in one way or another. And they might not get it. Why? They might be like, why are they performing? Maybe and they might give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's like, there's usually someone who's picked up on it, and then they either get gaslit, not in a bad way, possibly just by their friends, by everyone else going, no, I don't see it. But it's like, people can perform all they want.
Calling shit out is based. Yeah. Oh, Shiny Luna, we were just kind of going down the rabbit hole of still talking about performative males, and then we went on a kind of side rant about how when it comes to basically correcting problematic mindsets in men, TJ believes that it is more other men's responsibility to do so than women's responsibility. Men should be more involved in calling out other men in their lives. It's not as much women's responsibility, which is something I'd probably tend to agree with, unless the women are like that man's mother or like direct influences. Then it's like, it doesn't matter that you're a woman. If you have the opportunity to correct someone and call it out, you should.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just be like, I'm gonna let that one go because I don't feel like it because it's too much mental labor and I'm a woman and I don't have to.
But if
like, if it's a complete stranger,
that's what I'm
you
saying.
don't owe
If
them
he's
mental
like
labor,
flirting,
but-
if he's like flirting with you and you're going out on a date and he like says some and he like behaves or says something problematic,
Right.
that's
Yeah, during a date, it's
Yeah.
not your job to
absolutely.
fix someone, for sure. I agree.
Someone
TJ's
wanted to
reason.
ask what my thoughts are on unsafe women. It's like, I don't know if this is supposed to be some sort of gotcha, like when people are like, what if there's Democrats in the Epstein files? Send them to jail. Take them aside. Talk to them. Bad people. Go, yes. Do it. Across the board.
Yeah,
Everyone,
it isn't
if
gonna
you
be a
have
gotcha.
any
He's gonna
other-
say the same thing. He's
Like,
gonna
what
say,
are
I
you
don't like
talking
unsafe
about?
women either. Yeah. I mean, TJ has unfortunately dealt with unsafe
I'm
women.
so
Before me, he
sorry.
had chicks throwing glasses at his
I'm
head,
so
you
sorry
know?
that you might think or have dealt with people to where it's like, well, rules for thee, but not for me. But that's not, if you want the standard to change, continue to hold the standard of rules equally for everybody. It's like, I absolutely, if you're stepping
Victoria
out,
likes
call
working.
something about it. And hey, again, I'm just saying, if you're friends with a dude, and you are a dude especially, take them aside and say something if they do something problematic. Same, whatever gender you and them are, if you have that relationship, do it. I'm just saying in the general social atmosphere.
I do
I'm
tend to
painting
agree
in
with
broad
that.
strokes.
I do tend to agree with TJ on that, just because I also agree that it's women's job to call out each other because it doesn't go as well when men are constantly calling women out for things. So it's like that's the reason that I do it. And that's also why I get so annoyed when I criticize one woman's behavior and people want to go, you're not a girl's girl, meh. And it's like, it's awful misogynist of you to equate that one woman's behavior to the behavior of all women. Like, somewhat, I don't like that either, because it's like, if women can't call out other women and men can't call out women, no one,
Exactly.
they just act with impunity at this point.
Exactly. Like 100%. And that's not okay either. And it's like, some people might be like, well, that's what's happening. I think we're just fine. I don't think it's happening as much as you think, because let me tell you, you ask the average woman if they feel like they can act in impunity in the United States these days, and they will laugh you out of the room. Rightfully so.
I don't know. I will say there's a lot of behaviors in which women can kind of act out with much less consequences. Let's take being a teacher and diddling your students, for example. When a woman does it, it's teacher has sex with her underage student. When a male teacher does, it's very obviously like predator monster assaults young child.
Yeah.
Like,
That's also the media's fault.
yeah, I agree. But anyway, oh man, we have yapped super hard. I'm curious a bit to hear what else she has to say, but we've still got quite a bit left of this video. Let's see if we can really tear through it.
I can't help but pause to think like, wow, this is so dark and meta. And meanwhile, most of them don't know what they're doing, but the select set of people who literally know that they're putting on this performative act is kind of dark. This is why the soft boy isn't a rejection of masculinity, it's a rebranding of it. It's a
Jesus, this is just so black and white. She's basically saying that every single man either has no idea what he's doing or is this diabolical Disney villain level master manipulator, and there truly is no in between. Shadow God says it's not all of them, it's just the really loud ones. Yeah, we say that a lot on this channel.
strategic rebrand. Your boy is wearing empathy like a fucking charm bracelet.
Hey Bender Baddies, you guys know that as the owner of the world's first and Subaru is basically my personal shopper.
I'm using code TylerB at checkout. Okay, so these are the dry ingredients mixed all up together. So I will get to use my retro. I like what I've done with the place. Something about the sugar is that it's
talk about the subject.
Maybe
I
this
don't
will make brown
care.
sugar ruined. That seems like it's optional, right? If you are as online as I am, you have seen many a meme about this cultural movement, and I find them hysterical.
Hey, Dad, I'm going out.
Wait, where's your Labubu?
I'm not bringing it.
Get your Labubu. What about your matcha?
I already drank one this morning.
Where's your tote bag? Go change.
Fine.
We've talked about this.
This is funny when your son isn't being performative.
One of my favorites is at Beam Me Up Soft Boy, and it speaks to the cultural ambivalence surrounding this archetype. These motherfuckers are quoting poetry 1 minute, negging the next. When a pattern is so recognizable that it becomes a meme format, we've got a problem. Memes don't just mock, they codify. The moment that something is meme, it gains social traction. This Instagram account runs off the submissions of women, with soft boys basically negging them. They find a boy who is clearly dressed, identifying themselves as a soft boy, and then we get to see their heinous behavior. It's wonderful. So this is a dating app. The girl says, what else do you listen to? A lot of quirky shit. I just don't like that. Such as Radiohead, Mac DeMarco, The Deftones, Talking Heads. I listen to the local music station here a lot too.
Wait, so saying you listen to quirky music is a turnoff? It's being performative? Okay, I guess add that to the list of things guys can't do. You cannot say you listen to quirky music. Just avoid describing yourself as quirky at all these days, just to be safe. That's not a good one.
Oh yeah, I know all those guys. They are all pretty popular actually. Do you have an Instagram? Yeah. Whoa, you think those guys are popular? Most girls are so basic they have no idea. Nice. Most girls are so basic. The generalization that women are not as deep.
Okay, yeah, I definitely have to agree though. That's not very chill. If you're ever going to talk about any gender, like, yeah, most girls are boring, or yeah, most guys are dumb, like, yeah, it's not gonna play very well now.
You know, like, ugh, ick. This is what I'm saying. Like, he presented as such an indie, artsy, sensitive, compassionate type, and then of course he hits you with that, oh, most girls are so basic and gross. You know, if you hate girls so much, just date boys. I go back to that over and over again. I'm looking for an eligible and busy, keep in mind this is a soft boy. For it to be on this account, his profile photo had to showcase soft boy aesthetic, so he probably had on cut off dickies, a beanie, and cute little rings.
I think that this is just, I think I'm gonna pause it. I don't know. Do you guys want to finish the video? Do you really want to finish it? I just feel like I'm going to keep pausing and end up saying a lot of the same stuff. And like my one thought that's going on in my head right now is this is all a lot of coverage for people to just basically say something that we have been knowing for a very long time, should have been knowing, should continue to know, which is you cannot tell how a person is going to behave just by looking at them. Literally, like, even if you look at a person and they are wearing a shirt that says, I am going to shoot this whole place up, you don't know. Not a great shirt to be wearing out in public, but you don't know. Like, the guy who's going to cheat on you, who is going to have a really negative opinion on women, who isn't going to have any follow through and quit all of his jobs and be unremarkable and not contribute to domestic labor, he's not going to appear in this like shallow hell format where everyone nice is attractive and everyone mean is ugly, or like in Fable where the more good quests you do, you're gaining wings and glitter and a halo around your head, and the worst things you do, you end up with giant devil horns and flies buzzing around you. Like, unfortunately, the world does not work that way. So when you end up making these statements that you think are like big facts or findings or something, saying, you know, this guy presented as an attractive person, but then I got to know him and he's kind of a douche. Like, I don't know what to tell you, because you could choose to take a chance on an uggo and they could just be equally as repugnant of a personality. There's no way of knowing just by looking, okay? Let me see what some of you guys are saying really quick here. Man, you guys are all just talking about Weird Al all of a sudden. I think I missed that one. Do we want to keep watching this, or are we do we kind of get the message here? My head has hurt since I tuned in. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Please don't sue me for damages for what you've been made susceptible to for this stream. 8 minutes of BS left. Do we want to just crank through with it? Yeah, let me see if I can get some more out of this.
My bio. Eligible and busy male seeks life partner. For efficiency, please do not swipe. Okay, for efficiency, if you have...
Wait, what? So she's already, like, twisting her face up and grimacing over the sentence, eligible and busy male seeks life partner? What did he do wrong? Like, God, I really called it at the beginning of this video where I said it doesn't really matter how these men dress or present. She's going to assume the absolute worst of them no matter what. Like, this is pretty cut and dry and inoffensive. What do you mean you're, like, disgusted and, like, taken aback and getting the ick from eligible and busy male seeks life partner? It seems as though he is self-confident, self-aware, and knows what he wants. What is the problem here?
Busy male seeks life partner. For efficiency, please do not swipe. Okay, for efficiency, if you had time to curate a selection of silver rings, you have time to sit on Hinge like a normal person. Do not swipe right if you are above a size 10, have...
Okay. I get why she might have been unimpressed with this list now. We start off, I will say this, gentlemen, when curating your dating profiles, even if you are not interested in dating an overweight person, which is 100% fine, that's your prerogative, you're allowed to have those standards, no shame to you, you're allowed to have that, but if you are not interested in dating an overweight person, I still wouldn't recommend, like, making it so clearly plain on your profile, hi, I'm Mark, no fatties, please. It's just not a great look. Not a great look. There are even ways that you could like dog whistle it. Like, why did I do the like smoking reefer pantomime for dog whistle? No one blows a dog whistle like this. Maybe that was a dog whistle for, is it for, it's a little bit past 420. Anyway, you could also like dog whistle it though by being like looking for a partner who's into health and fitness. Right? Like you could just like be a little bit more subtle about it, but like whenever yeah. Although there's a lot of overweight hikers. As someone who does like 5Ks and race events, there are people of every single body size moving and pushing it and even beating my ass, quite frankly. You never know what to expect just by looking at someone's body. But like there's other ways you can phrase it, but just outright coming out and being like, you must be below a size 10. Even if the girl is below a size 10, she's probably going to be turned off by that. I'm going to just be completely honest about that.
Wonky yellow teeth. Vote.
Again, you're allowed to have those preferences. A lot of people are like big on teeth, especially here in America where like we are like the pickiest with our dental health. Like you can have those preferences, but like you should be able to see each other's pictures, right? Like just don't swipe on people who look to be bigger than you would prefer, or I don't know, you could always filter teeth though, so that might be the issue. I will say this though, to the wonky teeth gang, I was reading a Reddit thread of what are some typically non-conventional or unattractive qualities that you find very attractive, and first of all, the top most popular answer was awkwardness, but the other one was snaggle teeth and wonky teeth and teeth gaps. So stay winning, wonky teeth gang.
Labor green. Have children. Smoke. Are anti-royals. That's not very...
I don't know what anti-royals means, unless that's like a sports team. Everything after this so far, I don't find offensive at all. Like, no matter what your voting party is, I can see people like reasonably shitting on voting green and like viewing it as a waste of a vote. And if you feel that strongly about it, fair enough to say like politics matter to me, clearly. It's also perfectly fine to say you're not going to want to date me if you have children or smoke. Those two are perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with that one. I don't know what anti-royals means. Cannot ski is kind of funny.
Wonky yellow teeth. Vote labor green. Have children. Smoke. Are anti-royals. That's not very metal. That's not very contrarian of you, sir. Cannot ski. He said, poor people, stay out of my DMs. Unusual hair piercings, tattoos. Isn't that what soft boys are always looking for? Cannot hold...
I mean, he didn't say poor people stay out of my DMs, but also I guess he kind of did. Skiing is expensive. You're never going to be good at skiing or learn to ski without some money.
Knife, fork, or pen properly? That is so specific. Oh, and then also...
Oh yeah, that is very specific. Like, why do you randomly shitting on people with like cerebral palsy or Parkinson's all of a sudden? Fair enough, I guess.
Oh, get this. Here's the kicker. What I'm looking for. A long-term relationship, but also intimacy without commitment. Stop it. Stop it. This is what I'm saying.
Is that wrong, though? Like, is it... He's looking for a long-term friends with benefits. Is it wrong if he's being very clear and upfront about that? He's like, look, I like to actually have a relationship and have mutual respect between people that I'm also hooking up with, but I'm not looking for any serious commitment. I'm not a hyper-monogamous man. I don't do marriage. Is that wrong? There's plenty of women who would be okay with that. I don't know, like that hookup culture life might not be for you. You might not like the dynamic of friends with benefits, but whether you like it or not, like, that suits a lot of adult people's lifestyles, where they're able to engage in intimacy and have healthy relationships that don't necessarily involve possession or full commitment, life planning, or anything like that. Obviously, there's a lot of good reasons to have limited sexual partners and frequent STI treatments if that's the life you're gonna have, but is it inherently wrong or anti-feminist. Again, this is what I mean by sometimes these liberal feminist women who claim to be so progressive end up like becoming conservative and like flipping on over, like if they're going so far left they end up on the right side at one point. Like I thought that a lot of yeah, because it's like here she is saying like I'm a feminist, da 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 da, but it's like all of a sudden she becomes very like sexually conservative. Like whoa, you wanna be sex positive and have casual sex? No, you're supposed to be traditional and monogamous. Like, you see what I mean? Like, it's so interesting how you're so progressive left feminist but also not when it comes to men.
Performative intimacy, performative empathy. What are we doing? My most controversial opinion is...
Wait, what? Now they're saying it's performative intimacy? Just because he doesn't want to put a ring on it? So now even the sex men are having is not genuine? They're just having fake sex now, too? None of it's real.
Young men should listen to Greta Thunberg instead of Andrew Tate. Agreed. Okay, we're off to a good start. Okay, maybe he's an empath. Maybe he's normal. Maybe he's sweet. Maybe he really is a soft boy. My body count is 2, but I don't really count one of them, so it might be 1. Whoa. Maybe this is like male purity culture, so I don't know. Maybe it's kind of feminist for him to be like a Puritan about himself. You're out.
What? I have to go back. She said... Wait, what? I think I skipped something. She said...
Soft boy. My body count is 2, but I don't really count one of...
Okay, so she's criticizing him saying my body count is 2, but I don't really count one of them. So maybe, first of all, talking about body count is kind of odd, but I guess some people care about it. I mean, I don't know why they're saying this, honestly. Like, he might have been, like, inebriated or not in his right headspace, which is why he doesn't count it. Again, this is what I mean by, like, we can do our part as women to make the world a better place for both men and women without like exhausting a ton of emotional labor. Literally all I have to do to help is by assuming some positive intent. I read this and I assume maybe like he was assaulted. Maybe he didn't fully consent one of these times and he's still, you know, navigating within himself how to fully classify that. How she decides to interpret it though is, oh, men and their purity culture.
For them, so it might be 1. Whoa. Maybe this is like male purity culture, so I don't know. Maybe it's kind of feminist for him to be like a Puritan about himself. You're autistic? I never would have guessed that. I'm pretty open about it. I think I'm on the spectrum too, TBH. But babe, I wouldn't have thought you were. And I'm not trying to be a twat or patronize you in any way. Is it weird that I've masturbated to you 3 times now? This is what I'm saying. Oh, I'm so empathetic and understanding and cool.
There's
but,
also like a really weird false equivalence going on here as far as like the fallacies of this video, because what she appears to be doing throughout the structure of this video is taking a caricature of a person that is not a real person. There's so far been no one specific person that anyone has like really pointed to and been like, this is who we're talking about. We're talking about a caricature of a man. And then we're taking texts from like By Felipe or r/nice guys, like some of the cringiest texts possible, and then presenting the situation as though these texts from a random faceless anonymous submission must be these same exact guys wearing multiple rings, drinking matcha tea, and collecting labubus, which... There's no reason for any of us to think that. There is literally nothing actually connecting these random texts that she's found online and a performative male. There's really nothing. This is all just like women fighting the demons in their own heads to take old problems and dress them up as new problems. Is that fair? Is that a fair interpretation of what I'm witnessing right now?
I'm also disgusting. Now that we've gone through the boring shit about you and your personality, and now that we've been vulnerable with each other, I just want to tell you, I see you as a sex object. Oh, it doesn't matter to me that you're autistic. I never even listen to anything you say. So that's like when I make a piece of feminist commentary and I get a comment that's like, this was way better on you. I go crazy for, I'm attracted to intelligence. Don't get me wrong, a perfectly crafted body will certainly get my attention. Do not swipe right unless you are a baddie on point. But I'll get bored with it. I always do. I need you to outsmart me, and I could learn from you. Then you can have me. Oh.
Was that problematic? Um, is the overly performative, obviously bad faith man in the room with us? Babe, can I get your opinion on this? I guess you don't have to come in here, but tell me, do you find this to be like a red flag? In response to the prompt, because you know these dating apps, one of the things they do is they give you like a prompt and then you like finish the sentence or whatever. The prompt is, I go crazy for blank, to which he filled it out with, I am attracted to intelligence. Don't get me wrong, a perfectly crafted body will certainly get my attention, but I'll get bored with it. I always do. I need you to outsmart me, and I could learn from you. Then you can have me.
That kind of gives me the ick.
Is it just like, it just sounds like too...
It sounds like how I imagine Lex Luthor fills out his. He's like, a perfectly crafted body. Like, you have to. This sounds like fucking Gaston. Like, what are they teaching women to read? It's like, this sounds like
But doesn't sound like Gaston. He's literally saying that he wants an intelligent, educated woman who can teach him things. That sounds like the exact opposite of Gaston.
You're right, but the idea of there's chest puffing going on. Do you hear like this whole thing is oozing with, what do you call it?
I guess there's a bit of a like, don't you dare bore me tonality
it's
to
very
it.
Like
I'm easily unimpressed.
It's very patting on the back, like, yeah, you could look like a supermodel, but even supermodels bore me. I need you to mentally stimulate me, otherwise I just think I'm gonna get bored. And it's like, wow, cool. Here's a fucking glass to fart in and sniff. Holy shit, dude. Like, if I ever met a friend who was like that, I'd be like, oh, so I fucking hate you and we're never hanging out again. Nice. It's like, dude,
okay, but I'll say this though. I don't believe that this is performative.
No,
I will say I do genuinely believe that this man, like,
I agree with you,
needs to be stimulated.
But
I do believe that this man probably already has a cocaine addiction.
My thing is, I think he thinks that he's all that, and it's like anybody reading this is like, oh, sweetheart, like,
I do have to call myself out though. I was like, we can heal men by assuming positive intent, and then like 2 minutes later, I was like, this man has a cocaine addiction. So, okay, we might have to call Lauren out a little bit on that one.
I need you to outsmart me, and I could learn from you. Then you can have me. Oh. Let me throw myself at your feet, sir. These soft boys are so frequently raging misogynists, but they're just in this costume of this, like, cool, informed, artsy intellectual. Like, I don't even know if they realize that they are...
I don't know about, like, raging misogynist. Like, you could probably read from the subtext, like, that this man might feel annoyed believing that like many women are beneath him, perhaps. Like, I guess if you really, really read into the subtext, you could get that, but like raging misogyny.
I think he thinks just most people are.
That's exactly right. Like, you can be pretentious and not misogynist. Like, you can just think that you're equally better than everybody without actually being sexist at all.
Are women-hating assholes with all this rhetoric of like, most girls are vapid and dumb. I get the same vibe when I hear people being like, LA is just vapid bitches. I don't know if you guys know Avin Jokia, but he released a book that was basically, it felt pretty gross. It was just all like, oh, you're a vegan, you stupid LA bitch in your leggings. I'll tell you what, I wear athleisure, and I guarantee I've read more books than anybody criticizing me for being a thoughtless bitch going to Pilates in my athleisure. There are so many criticisms.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Tyler, you didn't just... hold on, you didn't just get upset and offended at the thought of someone making a snap judgment about you being overly performative or having a completely different personality just because it's not directly adjacent with the way that you dress. Did you? You didn't... Wait. You didn't just express that you don't like it when people make judgments about how you must be as a person based on how you present aesthetically to the world. Did you? Oopsie! You know what we're really cooking in this kitchen is hypocrisy. We are cooking up hypocrisy today in the kitchen. That's what we're making.
That I feel are so deeply rooted in misogyny. Even like sometimes when people criticize influencers, it gives misogynist. Anytime somebody is criticizing people for being vapid and thoughtless, it's always at the expense of women. It always comes down to thinly veiled misogyny. And
every single time a person criticizes anybody for being vapid or thoughtless, it's misogynist. Also, Tyler, criticizing a ton of males as being vapid and thoughtless, unless they're diabolical, manipulative villains. That's the only way that they're not vapid and thoughtless.
part of the aesthetics of the soft boy who thinks he's like smarter than everybody. It's like women are so vapid and blah blah blah. It's awful. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm scared to try the dough because there's so many things that went wrong, but I'm like tempted. Okay, that tastes amazing. I'm not getting a matcha taste though, probably because lots of things went wrong. I think my hair calculus, I've studied what women like, and I know how to fake emotional intelligence and weaponize therapy speak thing I've ever seen in my life. So this is after sending an unsolicited dickety pickety. I have body dysmorphia, so for me to be proud of any part of my body is actually a miracle. Haha.
So if sending the dickety pickety was unsolicited, like out of fucking nowhere, then no, you're not gonna just get away with it by being self-deprecating. You can't just use like, this is actually a miracle for body positivity that I had the balls to send you an unsolicited dick pic. Like, if that's the case, that's clearly not gonna work. But if... And my camera died. Hold on. Swap out the battery real quick. Not that I'm gonna be live for much longer, but we're on a roll now, so we might as well make it to the finish line here. There we go. But, oh god, where was I? What was I even yapping about? I completely lost my train of thought. Anyway, sorry, maybe I'll pick up where we left off here.
I'm supposed to accept your unsolicited dick pic because
you... Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, back to the dick pic. But if it was a solicited dick pic, there have been exchanging of pictures. This was expected and normal, not just like actual SA, which is what sending unsolicited nude photos of yourself is. And he's just opening up about his body dysmorphia. Then it's really shitty to like make fun of him for being open about his body dysmorphia. That's genuinely something that a lot of men experience unironically. Entirely depends. I wish she would have provided the context for like, because just sending a dick pic is literally not always bad. I'll tell you what, I would not mind some photos from my husband here and there. You know what I'm saying? As long as I know kind of a little bit ahead of time, like give me a warning so that I'm not like in the middle of line at Meijer checking out with someone right behind me, which may have happened in my past. But unsolicited, yeah, he would deserve to get roasted for that.
You have body dysmorphia? Shut up! Woo! That is the most crazy weaponizing of therapy speak. Ugh, that grinds my freaking gears. Men going to therapy, I've said this once and I'll say it again. The only thing worse than a man who has never gone to therapy is a man who has gone to too much therapy. Like,
you guys know what I'm thinking, right? Like, I don't even have to say it at this point. This is so fucking damned if you do, damned if you don't. She literally just said the only thing worse than a man who doesn't go to therapy is a man who has too much therapy. The only thing worse than a man is men. Am I right, ladies?
Like I'm saying, the mecca of all of this is the man who won't go to therapy, studies therapy speak online, dresses like a soft boy, and at the end of the day is a big lying misogynist. Dating me is like, I'm a sucker for a successful woman. You go, girl. I like my woman seasons, if you understand the term, as in mentally. Okay, feminist. You like an intellectual woman, that's fine. Can you smother me with your amazing tits? I'm looking for a friends with benefit or Netflix and chill tonight and can host spelled incorrectly. You will enjoy it and have lots of fun. I found you on my Tinder and you can also sit on my face as well. She doesn't respond, obviously. And then he says, rude. I put a lot of effort into that message. You're looking for an intellectual because all these vapid, stupid girls that only care about getting lip fillers, eating hot chip, and lying. You can't even spell host right. I'm disgusted and sick.
So, like, there's just a lot of false equivalences going on within this video. Like I said, not only is she just, like, taking texts from r/nice guys and then attributing them to any man who wears rings or listens to record players, I guess. But she's also like doing this false equivalence thing of saying that any man who says that he's looking for an intelligent woman is a raging misogynist, because by saying that you're looking for an intelligent woman, you're implying that you can't find them. When intelligent women are everywhere. What are you trying to say here? That most women are unintelligent? That's all I hear. So you hate women. Why are you even trying to date them? Oh, that's right, because you want a mommy and a maid. Like that. That's a bit much. He literally just said he wanted an intelligent woman. That's literally all he said. He did not say any of those other things.
Because any woman who has existed as a woman, who is dated in the heteronormative culture, has seen this. I feel like I don't even have to be that concise about what I'm saying because...
DJ Omnificent says, I started therapy 4 years ago when my best friend died. So when do I need to stop to get a woman? I don't know, 4 years is a bit much, you know. It's kind of like being on birth control too long. Like, you better quit, all right? I can already smell you literally turning into a Tate bro now.
Every single one of you has an experience with this. Okay, and to be fair, not all men wearing pearl necklaces are acting. Some can find genuine joy and expression in stepping outside of gender norms, except for Harry Styles, that was totally performative. Some are questioning patriarchy.
Okay, so we have one of our first males named. Harry Styles is apparently a performative feminist now. I don't know what Harry Styles has done in these last couple years to get abandoned by the girls, to get left behind by the dolls, but apparently wearing a dress that one time in that photo shoot was not enough to save him, because they all looked at it and they said, lying, you don't really want to wear that dress. You're just doing it to be a soft boy.
Weaponizing it. But honestly, the amount of times I've seen this co-opted and manipulated is beginning to make me sick and mistrusting. At the end of the day, a soft boy is not dismantling patriarchy. He's diversifying the portfolio. Aesthetics may look like vulnerability, but vulnerability without actual accountability, that's strategic. And I'm glad that even the teenagers on TikTok are turning this into a meme and calling it out. I think I'd totally rather be with the unaware Chad in cargo shorts than the weird, strategic, artsy, misogynistic soft boy.
I don't know, man. I gotta say, a lot of this falls on us women, because if you genuinely think that the way a man dresses is peak demonstration of vulnerability, that's on you, dude. Like, there is nothing about a labubu or your glasses or khakis or a soft sweater or painted nails that is like, wow, he's being so vulnerable with me right now. And I get that, like, probably someone might think, like, well, he's going against the safe masculine agenda by having these painted nails, by expressing himself in this feminine way, such as by wearing the pearl necklace or whatever, which means that he must be kind of counterculture and in opposition to the same, like, standards of toxic masculinity that I am. Like, I could kind of see why someone might mentally go down that route. But again, like, if you're not doing any additional discernment tactics beyond just, oh, that guy has a labubu, he must be a feminist, dude, it's kind of on you. It's kind of on you at that point.
And here we are. I think I got them out of the oven at the right time. Perfectly good. Let it be golden brown. See how texture? I think it's definitely, no, I definitely eat this might be wrong. So I'm gonna be grateful. An attitude of gratitude, one might say. Guys, I wanna know your thoughts on the soft boy epidemic. Am I being too harsh? Do you have personal experiences? Share.
Am I being too harsh? I think so. I think so. I think that, like, when there's actually a real person for us to look at, let's take, for example, a really good example of the performative male in real life, like in actual practice, would probably be like Robbie Harvey, for example. Extremely very popular guy on TikTok, covers a lot of cases of women being harmed or going through mistreatment, but he regularly goes under fire, I feel like, but it's been a while since it's actually been viral. But he's gone under fire for being one of these, you know, kind of performative allies where he might claim to care about women's safety, but then a lot of DMs leaked that showed him going behind his wife's back while she was being treated for breast cancer, trying to meet up salaciously with other women he was talking to on TikTok. So that might be like a really good example of someone we can point to and say, you're claiming to be this one thing, but the way that you're behaving is not congruent with the ideals you claim to espouse. Of different men, to where now you see a guy who's a little bit artsy, a little bit feminine, a little bit alternative, and you're like, oh, performative male, performative male. But based on what? Like, we can't just, you know, take random screenshots anonymously submitted online that may not even be real. These may just be conversations people generated for content, and then say, yeah, all males who dress like this must be the ones posting this stuff. Again, Tyler has kind of just invented a boogeyman and is selling it to her audience and fear-mongering. Is that real feminism? Is that actually destroying the patriarchy? Or is she kind of just engaging in the same fear-mongering, bias-generating, stereotyping behaviors that the people she criticizes are engaging in? What do you guys think? I missed a couple super chats. I'm gonna go back and read these. Let's see. Arsian, so good to see you. Says, I feel like misogynist has become a meaningless buzz. Also, I find that women weaponize therapy language the most. Now we can use their own weapons. You know, I don't think... I wouldn't feel comfortable saying confidently one way or the other if men or women are more likely to abuse therapy terms. I will say this, though. Women go to therapy more, so they have more access to these terms, therefore would probably be therefore more likely to be the ones weaponizing them, potentially. But I don't think I think there's so many factors that go into that. If we keep shaming men for engaging in therapy, like Tyler Bender is doing, there are going to be less men in therapy anyway. And then I know we had another one. Oh, another one for Arcia. From Arcian says, Pedro Pascal is definitely a performative male. Also, I feel male feminists have always been creeps. Look at Justin Trudeau or Weinstein. Dude, that's the thing. Even with Pedro Pascal, though, I genuinely do not know how much of it is performative and how much of that is just Pedro Pascal is his own weird energy, right? Like, because with Pedro Pascal, what a lot of people would probably think is performative is the very touchy-feely way he deals with his anxiety, his like very, very comfortability with women, how he's always complimenting their nails and things like that. You could say that that's performative, but even with him, like, I don't know if I could confidently tell or say one way or the other. Like, he's probably just a really confident guy who has been spending his best years in a really high performing, unique area of Hollywood where his charisma and ability to socialize and confidence in just behaving differently than other people is probably at an all-time high. So he just doesn't really care about how he's perceived. I think that that's equally possible, really. And I mean, like, it's not like he's faking his sister being trans. That's real. So the fact that he's so the fact that like he's become an advocate for that, I don't think he's making that up, you know? Like, I don't talk about this a whole lot, but I have a trans sibling as well, which has led to a lot more of me being more open-minded and trying to speak in a way that is more educational about trans lives and trans issues. And that's not just me trying to be some virtue signaling performing activist. It's just like, I just want a healthy relationship with my sibling, and so I'm going to do the best that I can to educate myself and not speak out of pocket in a way that would hurt my sister's feelings. You know what I mean? Like, that's not me like trying to appear to be a good person. Like, I'm not even doing the best job at it. Like, there's things that I still get wrong about all of that kind of stuff, and things that I don't fully understand. But I'm trying, and I think that we should all try a little bit, you know? I don't think that men should be shat all over for trying. Now, if there's a man who it's clear, like you've caught him in the hypocrisy, you've caught him in the performance, call it out. Call it out. We all want to see it. Men and women alike. We all want to see you pull his pants down and spank them booty cheeks for all of us to point and laugh at and go, ha ha. But if you don't have any proof, if all you see is a trendy, artsy guy with matcha talking about feminism, you can't just assume he hates women. We can't just be taking out all of our allies in a quest to weed out the moles. We're gonna lose a lot of allies because I feel like the average guy would like to see a better future for women. The average guy does not want to be a douche. The average guy cares more about improving himself than just making other people think he's improving himself. There are plenty who are that way, but we need a little bit more to be able to confidently call them performative males as opposed to just men trying to be better, because God forbid. But I think that's about all that I have to say on this topic today. If you haven't already, please like the video. It super, super, super helps my channel. Everybody say thank you to the YouTube members and Patreon members who also really support this channel and helping me crank out higher quality, more frequent content and allowing all this to happen, basically. And I'm going to offer a couple more minutes to the chat. I'm going to focus on the chat now, so if I've missed some of your chats before, this is going to be your highest chance of me seeing it outside of super chats. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'm opening the floor to you for this last little bit here. Connor, thank you so much for the 2. Says, I want men and women to just grow up already. Hell yeah. I heard that. Let's see. A lot of you guys still hate Pedro Pascal. Sky Power says, I feel like Tyler just really wants to pop off as a content creator. Isn't she already though? I feel like her stuff does tremendously well. I mean, she has 250,000 subscribers. Her videos tend to get like hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah, her videos do like way better than mine. I'm a pretty low performing creator compared to some of these people, honestly. She seems to be doing very well for herself. Arsian says, why does Pedro only touch women? Not true. Hold on. I'm just gonna Google Pedro Pascal being gay. Being adorable is one of the top searches. I'm gonna type Pedro Pascal, because I'm not gonna say being gay. You don't have to be gay to cuddle men. But Pedro Pascal cuddling men. No, there's like quite a bit of it, actually. Like, I mean, yeah, Pedro loves men. Look. See? Yeah, dude, no, it's like, it's very far from just women, actually. Like, look, he loves hugging and kissing men. Like, there's actually countless examples. Like, I seem to not be able to stop scrolling and finding Pedro. Oh, is this AI generated? Is that real? Oh, that one's a bit much. Man, when I have anxiety, I usually just have to deal with it by myself, but whenever Pedro Pascal has anxiety, he just gets dry fucked by every single gender. I mean, yeah, like there's I hope I've put to rest the Pedro Pascal doesn't touch men allegations. That's AI, Lauren. That was AI is being purely used for sin these days. Someone says, are you okay with Sunvicket's name being public now? Yeah, I mean, he's on social media now. He wasn't for a really long time, but he's posted his name. He's following me. He's engaged in the streams. He regularly comments on my stuff under his birth name, so I'm okay with it. It's his decision now. He's old enough to agree with it. Why was there a Brokeback Mountain screenshot in that image set? Because I think they're I googled Pedro Pascal cuddling men, so I think there's probably an overlap in the gay community. Lauren, have fun decompressing Father Coconut. Oh, I always do. I always do, lads. Don't worry about that. Thank you for the additional blessings of Mara, though. Sunvicket is a cool dude. Y'all should go follow him. Yeah, if you ever want to see my 16-year-old's Instagram account, it's Waterdellin. He's got an Irish first name. He uploads a lot of his artwork on there. And, you know, you can go support him in his voice acting journey. You might catch him in some games in the future. Arsian said he's still a creep. I would deck him if he touched my wife the way he touches Vanessa Kirby. Here's the thing about that, though, is why should Pedro Pascal get assaulted when Vanessa Kirby is the one allowing him to touch her that way? Not that Vanessa's the one who should get attacked. That's not what I'm implying. But the one who should be blamed for your wife being inappropriately touched. Like, your wife is allowing it. I would be upset with the wife. Don't hit her. But if you're not okay with your wife being inappropriately touched, like, I actually asked TJ, because we were talking about the whole Pedro Pascal situation. I was like, how would you feel if, you know, a man like Pedro Pascal was touching on me the way that he touches on these women, and TJ was like, I don't know, how does he treat me? TJ's interpretation of that seemed to be, or his take on that seemed to be like, as long as your male friend is respectful toward me and I have vetted him and deemed him to be safe around you, then I might trust him a little bit more. But I don't, wait, let's Google the exact touching though, and then I'll revisit this conversation with TJ before we get out of here. What is it? Was Vanessa Kirby the bad one? Is it Kirby, or am I saying it wrong? Was it Kirby? What was it? Kirby, Vanessa Kirby. Okay. So there's a lot of like nose to nose. A lot of this is innocent. What's this one?
You're out of your gourd. I'm leading a Marvel movie. I mean, is this like a pleasant, bizarre surprise or what?
I would tell you were out of your gourd that I would get to be a part of an ensemble like this with actors that literally set the bar for me, and I'm sorry, I know you're English and that it's excruciating for me to
do it, deliver it
publicly, make compliments like that, but I am with the best of the best and I pinch myself over it.
Receive it, just take it in.
This is the most wonderful. I'm so lucky.
5 years ago, if I told
I think I got the wrong clip for this one. What's a better one? I mean, this one's like, I guess a bit lovey-dovey. He has his hands on her hand on her knee. They look pretty close here. Like in these ones. Hey, babe. TJ.
Yes.
We gotta revisit the Pedro Pascal discussion. Okay. I know we were that when we talked about this before, and I was like, how would you feel if I had a friend like Pedro Pascal and he like touched on me the way that Pedro Pascal touches on women?
Okay.
And your first take was, depends on how he treats me.
Right.
But like, he's nice to you. But like, when like pictures of us are getting uploaded like this.
Okay, load that picture up right there.
Hold on, that one's not even the best one. Where's the... Like, there's that one. They're laughing. In the, like,
oh, you mean the one where she's leaning into his space and he's leaning back? You mean where body language wise, she's pushing herself into his space? Like, yeah, they're flirty, but he's also flirty with everybody. I don't know. It's one of those things you compared it to one of our friends where you're like, so he's this person, but a guy. And I'm like, you know?
And I'm saying, you know, obviously it's on the wife if like she knows that they wouldn't be okay with it to like put a stop to it. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, like, we're getting pictures and I'm like leaning in and like stroking his chest.
I'd be more upset.
Or like noses are touching.
I'd be more upset with you in that picture than the guy, just because she's.
Yeah, because it seems like she's the one leaning into all of it. Like, I can't really blame Pedro Pascal. He's a young, single man.
He's flirting back a little bit here and there, but it's also like, I think he's dating somebody now, but it's also like, in all these pictures, at least with her, she looks like she's like, the neck is doing this into his space. He's not like aggressing, and a lot of times it looks like he's leaning top half back, you know, not like, ugh, but just like, hey, okay, that's surprising, you know, or not like surprising, like where'd this come from, but more like, you're in my personal space. I have anxiety. I got to adjust. And I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like, I can't really blame Pedro Pascal for, you know, being physically affectionate with women who allow him to be physically affectionate with them. You know, like I said, he's He's a conventionally attractive celebrity at the peak of his career in the middle of liberal Hollywood. There's probably going to be plenty of women who don't mind getting all touched up on by him. And like, so far, I think the biggest thing is I have never seen a video where Pedro Pascal is like touching on a woman and she like flinches or pulls away really fast.
That's part of what a lot of people are using is like.
So it's like they clearly want it.
Not creeping. I mean, people like you can find evidence of like traditionally hot men in Hollywood who may be a little touchy, and their co-stars are a little like freaked out by it. Like clearly, there has been is going to be such a weird sentence, but you'll know what I mean. There's been like an establishment of safety to where they don't flinch when he's around them. There's a safety that they feel around him. Period. And it might be, this is the other thing, is does this survive the gender swap? What if we made Pedro Pascal a woman? Would people...
Oh, and she's just like always touching.
Always up
I think especially if she was touching on married men, people would
But not married men. But not married men. I'm saying like this is my thing. What if the social dynamic that he cultivates, especially with his stars, is the same way that the girlies feel as the same way the guys feel. Like I know, obviously he has a sister, but like he grew up with siblings. He's from a Hispanic household, which just coming from an Italian household, we know how close he's a very physical person. Like out of the gate, he's already like 3 physical steps ahead of anybody from like Central Europe.
I think that a woman could get away with it. I think that a lot of people would love how physically attentive she was to her male co-stars, and it would probably help sell the movies.
Right,
but I think
that as soon as she did it, co-stars.
But I think as soon as a woman got that way with a married man, I think that the women would come for her.
Right, but I'm saying that's not what I'm talking about. That gender swap. I'm saying just swap Pedro Pascal here. If she was being this physical with another woman, people wouldn't be like, oh my god, what's going on? It'd be very similar to like Wicked, where the girls were like all on each other in a camaraderie. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is what if, and again, I don't.
But she was doing that to a woman who was married to another woman. I bet those girls would still hate her. Because people actually did feel that way about Ariana Grande with her co-star, because her co-star who played Elphaba had a girlfriend, and people did not like how Ariana was with her, actually. So it has been gender swapped.
So it doesn't survive the gender swap regardless. It just doesn't survive.
But that's also kind of a little bit why I was surprised that I was like, so you would be okay with like a guy like Pedro Pascal touching all up on me if like all the girls were like, oh, that's just how he is. That's just how he is. Like, yeah, I think the responsibility is mostly on the married person who's responsible for protecting their own marriage. You know, single people are going to act single. Like, if I go out and I surround myself by a bunch of single dudes,
I don't know.
I can't be
I'm
mad
looking at this and it's like, I'm thinking of him. Because is he all up in your business? No, I'm obviously not going to be all right with that. But like, I'm thinking of literally the vast majority of all the interviews and pictures we see where he has his hand on them, where he puts their hand on his chest, where he will correct where they put their hands so that it's not overtly sexual in like things, to where it's like he seems very respectful in the sense of like, I trust you to not shove yourself into his space, but like if you were doing an interview and you two were playing romantic leads with each other and they're like, yeah, we really connected during this scene, and you reach over and held his hand, I wouldn't be like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like 2 actors who had to be emotionally vulnerable around each other, like having yep, that fucking sucked, or that was like a really like human moment that we had. Like, and to me, again, maybe I'm just looking at it from an actor standpoint where I'm like, they've had to spend intense days together, they've had to do all this, and she might be super flirty with him, and like you said, the onus is not a 50-50 in the dichotomy of one single and one not, to where I'm like, I don't think you would do that. And if I saw that interview, I'd kind of be like, why were you so all up in his? But he was in mine. It'd be like, he's allowed to be up in yours.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think a lot of it is, you know, how the married person reacts to it. Because I think like the one person in my life that would probably be like the most relatable to Pedro Pascal, even though they're nothing alike in personality, and you might already know who I'm about to say, is probably Kohai, who's my jujitsu
Man,
coach. But he's
probably.
definitely not as bad as Pedro Pascal. But I will say, like, he's the kind of guy who, like, when he sees you, he'll come up to you and, like, give you a little shoulder squeeze, or might, like, put his arm around you and keep it lingering there while he talks to you. He's been known to give, like, women who are very close to in his life, like, maybe a kiss on the cheek or on the forehead when he sees them. So, like, I would say Kohai's a pretty physically affectionate guy, but, like, I don't think that, like, you would never see me, like, cuddling.
That's my thing. People are saying that I'm a secure husband. I am a secure husband, but again, a huge part of that is because of her. Like, I'm not just secure in myself, which I am.
Like, I
but
go out
it's
of
like
my way,
she
I
makes
would
me
say.
to feel secure in the fact that, like, I'm secure enough in the sense of, like, knowing if I ever saw my partner doing this, I would be like, oh, well, that's on her. And she makes me feel secure enough to where I'd never even think that I'd find pictures of her doing this, to where it's like, you know.
If there was, it would have to have been, like, completely taken at a weird angle, like when I was, like, passing or moving in just the right way to where it, like, looks like my head is in, like, the nape of
But, like, I mean,
someone's neck or
obviously, like,
something.
all of these are, and for all we know, there was one here.
Here, do you want me to switch
Like,
the camera
this,
so they can
this
see?
looks
They
like,
can't see it.
this looks like a hug. Like, this one, this one right here looks like a hug and a cheek kiss. And they were saying something, and they were like, I can't even remember her name, but hey, look at the camera!
Yeah,
And
this one doesn't bother me. This one doesn't even bother me.
no, this is like, if someone were to be like, oh my god, what? Even
But they're like
this,
those
this
aren't
right
that
here,
much.
even this, I'd be like, they took a picture, somebody said something, and she leans in and goes, or like, oh my god, there's so many people here, or this is fucking sweet, or this is exactly what you said it was going to be. Because here's my thing, is in these places, we're seeing them here, it's not like they're in an empty lobby and people just caught them candidly. There are hundreds of people around them. So if you want to say anything to your guest star, you literally have to, like, lean in.
That's true.
Like this.
That's
and
true.
as soon as you lean in, every camera's going to be like...
That's true.
It's Ruginu, dude. It's Ruginu all over again. And especially this one right here with her legs bent. How many times have you in heels just literally crossed your legs over to get closer and lean back? And it's like, I'm starting to think of it now, like, look at all of these. They're at press tours where it's loud, it's noises, there's voices. So now I'm like, are all of these, and look at all the ones where they get to sit and kind of casually be talking with each other. Aside from the one where she's tickling his hair, and she's tickling his hair.
Yeah.
He should have taken it off, but again, it's like, that's gonna be even, you're sitting there and you're going, my guest star is tickling the back of my neck in an interview. Do I make a show of removing it, which is going to cause such fuckery in the aftermath, or do I just continue on as if nothing is happening? And that's kind of where I'm like, now there's so many things going through my head, because all of these ones where they're that one right there. That one right there.
Well, oh.
But I'm also like, they're not like, oh,
This is the one
now I'm
that's
really starting to second guess everything, because I'm like, all those ones, there's publicity shots, there's, oh man. And again, like, I've sat here going, I'm ready any day for them to be like, yeah, Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, like, totally banged on Fantastic Four, and I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. I'm not surprised, but again, like, that doesn't then make me look at every picture of Pedro Pascal being physical with literally every castmate he's ever had and going, I'll bet they fucked. I'll bet if we go back to the Game of Thrones set, he's getting cuddly with the Mountain. I don't think that him and Bjorn Bjornsson were banging it out between battle scene takes with each other. Maybe, but I don't think so. It's one of those things where it's like, it could have happened. I don't know. I'm not there, because now that we're talking, I'm sitting here thinking, all of these very close shots are publicity with lots of noise, and now I'm just sitting here going with my half-deafness. When we're even in a mildly loud place, I have to literally put my hand on your back. I'll do it to my guy friends, so they know I'm still talking to them. It's in a loud place, I'll put my hand on them, and I'll turn my ear, and it looks like we're being romantic right now, but really, I'm half deaf and I need your mouth right by my only audio processor. And so it's one of those things to where, oh shit. I'm really feeling this because
TJ's always this intense.
I am. Oh man.
much matcha. Oh, Mochi.
Oh, we
wants
missed
his
someone's
dad.
super chat.
Oh, did we? Okay. Arsene, I'm going back up. I'm going
Oh.
back. He was rubbing her pregnant bump, and he's not the father. Also, I've never thought he was attractive. I mean, she let him rub her bump.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not like, so far, Pedro Pascal has no untoward accusations against him. So far, not a single woman has come out and said, I did not want to be touched by Pedro Pascal. So, get yourself a wife who's actually loyal to you, I guess, with all the Pedro Pascals of the world.
And it's like, my thing is, as far, like, and again, whatever the opposite of the benefit of the doubt is, like, I'm still like, I don't know, he still might fuck some of these people. Like, I'm still sitting here going, like, again,
may have smashed.
if the headline dropped tomorrow, Pedro Pascal cracks his entire co-star lineup, I'd be like, yeah, dude, for sure. Like, I guess to me, it's like, you know, I guess it's like, there it is. But it's also like, to where I'm at now, from what we're seeing with the body language, I think, if anything, it may have gotten right up to a line, but I don't think it has crossed it. With anyone, it hasn't been allowed to cross. Like, again, if it just turns that he bangs it out with other single cast members, those are two consenting adults.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate Pedro for these men's wives being trashy.
Yeah.
Control your wives, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Unless they have a special chair in their room and they're into it too, you know, that could very well be the case. And then also, shout out to Ethan Andrew as well. All right, we've yapped so much longer than I was intending to. I did not intend to go down another Pedro Pascal side quest.
We can always go down a Pedro Pascal side quest. Listen.
Until now. Look,
listen.
Got to get ready. We have a road trip. We're about to drive up north. We're going to Mackinac Island with some family. Fun little historic island here in Michigan. Gonna spend a couple days away, have some fun, come back, get back at it. And I've got shorts for you guys all week. Did a lot of recording today, so I'll still have content for you even when I'm away. Maybe we'll F around and do a members only live stream from the island one of these evenings. So just another reason to hop aboard Patreon or YouTube membership if you want some more Dadvocate. If you don't want to give me money, though, you'll still get more Dadvocate. You might just have to wait a little bit, and that's okay. And that's okay. So thank you guys so much for another super awesome live. I had so much fun with you guys. I'm so glad I threw this on the schedule for today. If you haven't already, please like the live. It really, really, really helps. And we'll have next week's schedule out, I think, by this Sunday. Okay, that's it. We're out of here. No, I'm not staying at the Grand Hotel. Jeez. That's like when someone was like, you're a YouTuber? Do you own a Tesla? Like, listen, I just told you guys I don't be getting views like that on my YouTube. Okay, I don't got no Grand Hotel money, but I'm gonna go have some fun and see some horses. But anyway, okay, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.